to protect your soul.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Sounds good. Are we unmuted? Okay. Just tell me when we're unmuted and good to go. I think it's in here.
Koja, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Looking forward to casting this set. How about you?
Looking forward as well. Looks like we'll have some interesting matches today. We will have 2 sets for you guys.
Do you have any insight on either of these teams moving into these first matches here?
I do not, which makes it a little bit interesting heading into the picks and bans. We're going to get to see what these teams are going to prioritize. We're going to see if they prioritize some of the things we've seen in SPL, SCC. We've got a lot of pro play these past couple weeks, so we can see if they've been following that or if they've got their own little thing that's going on.
You know, I think for the most part, even with these teams moving into week 1, you're probably going to see a lot of the standard bans, if I was guessing, just because, you know, these teams might not know each other either. So
Yeah, definitely. We see the Persephone, Camazotz, and Bastet ban. A little bit of everything. They're just trying to ban some of the meta picks. The Bastet, a little bit of flavor pick. That'll let through some of the stuff like the Odin will come through, the Merlin, the Cuckoo. And we actually see that Cuckoo banned away. And also the Humbats and the Yamoja.
yeah, so it's looking like Baseball Boys have banned out Persephone, Camazotz, and Bastet, and AG Stride has gone for the Yamoja, the Hunbats, and the Cuckoo.
And we see Thor. Thor and Humbats are those top 2 junglers right now that you see. And with Heim, Morgan, and Loki comp banned, we won't be seeing those today.
Right, so the Thor pick, given obviously the great global pressure with his ultimate, tried and true. And as we look over AG Stride, it looks like they're going to go ahead and lock in the Merlin for their first pick, it looks like. And not sure what we're going to see for the second pick yet.
I definitely like the way that the Calamity and them have played it because you split on the mages. You get the one good jungler that's up there out of the Thor, since he's the only one that's up out of the 2. But then you can split it on the Merlin and Cuckoo if you like. Or if you just want to ignore one of the mages, you have that option as well.
All right, and they went ahead and locked in the Jing Chen. So they got rid of a Beads Burner and Hunbats, but they picked one up themselves with the Jing Chen.
Xing Shen, a very good support, but I think he's a little overhyped. I don't think you necessarily need to pick him in that second slot. I think we could have seen maybe towards an ADC pick like a Jing Wei, something high priority like that, and so that it kind of deters them from picking that Xing Shen themselves.
You know, I think the Jing Chen, there's some things that maybe he doesn't excel at like others do, but he's got the mobility. He puts a dot on folks. He's got displacement with the knockup,
And the
and then the
sustain.
ultimate, obviously. Yeah, for
The
sure.
sustain, the passive is definitely what you're looking for with that. We do see the Khepri pick. Love to see that. Khepri, pretty good right now in the meta. The res is always amazing. Good CC with the pull and the root. And then the 2 just gives girly wave pressure more than most supports.
They were hovering the Rama for a bit there, which I wasn't quite keen on, but they go ahead and lock in the On Her, and that's going to give him a lot more early pressure for sure.
Yeah. I still haven't seen much of the Rama, but we did see Zap pull it out in week 1 against Radiance. So, could see.
I
I'm
think
not sure.
I think with the key with a god like Rama is that he's just such a standard ADC that it really showcases how good of a player is at hitting their autos. But with somebody like on her, just a much more impactful ultimate, at least early game, and the slow on the pillar knockback.
Definitely. It looks like that Calamity and the team are going to be looking towards a very early game comp. The Kepri brings a lot of early pressure on her, obviously, a lot of early pressure. Thor got a little bit of the nerf on the ult, so his ult's 110 down to 90 instead of the 90 that he had. But
Right.
still, he can be very impactful with that semi-global early.
The answer back is going to be the Shibalanke, and Shibalanke doesn't have the stun in his ult anymore, but in my opinion, he has one of the best team fight ultimates in the game, and I think that's a really good pickup for them in response.
X-Ball, a very good pick into the Thor and the Kepri, especially the Kepri. Once you're blinded and you can just melt somebody, it's really hard for that Kepri to find the correct target for that resurrection. So,
Absolutely.
very good pick there into the Kepri. We do
And
see
go ahead.
we do
Sorry.
see the Dodgy and the we do see the Dodgy band coming out, and then we also see from mid laner a Scylla and a Poseidon band. Really looking towards those mid laners. No real rhyme or reason towards those bands, just two annoying mages. But yeah, it's a little weird to see those two band together. They really don't bring the same things, and don't see how they would fit in the draft particularly.
I think, when it comes to Scylla, she's really good right now, right? A lot of the itemization that's coming out, it just really favors those bursty mages, especially in the late game. And Poseidon, I mean, a Kraken can turn a fight, along with Whirlpool can really shut down Jing Chen's mobility, even at Shibalanke, and Merlin as well. So I think just one of those picks. If you're picking mages to get rid of, they're two pretty good mages to get rid of.
Yeah, I stand behind the Scylla as far as getting rid of that CC immune alt can 3 away. But if you're looking at Lifton, I don't know who's going to be piloting this thing, Shen. But if you're looking over at that team, they really want a mid laner that doesn't have a CC immunity. I would have looked to ban maybe a Raijin. I think Raijin would have been a much better ban.
I could definitely see that. Maybe they're not afraid of it. And they go ahead and lock in the Pele. So just a really great bursty assassin that's gonna come out of the jungle and really put a work in that middle lane.
Yeah, and we actually, to this point, Odin is still up.
I feel like he's kind of fallen off a little bit. You know,
I I think he's still heavily opinionated in the community. Some people think he's great, some people don't. We've seen in SPL that some people have first banned him. Sometimes he's gone through like first phase without anything. It's really just up to the team if they want to play against the Odin, and it doesn't look like we'll see anybody picking up that Odin. Maybe in this
uh,
last pick for mid laners team, but
perhaps. I mean, the thing about the Odin is if you can shut down that 3 with some CC, it really limits him, and then he turns basically into what he used to be. So also the ability to break down the walls also is a pretty big factor. But
yeah.
he still has his place. He can still snowball really heavily. But he doesn't do as much late game as some of the other ones do. So we see Agni and Kuchu on the other side. Agni, a really good pick. Lots of damage. Itemization, again, really helps all the mages. So I'm going to sound like a broken record when I talk about that.
Amaterasu looks like we're going to be seeing mid laners team going for a late game style draft, while we're going to see Calamity and them go for an early game draft. I personally am a fan of more of the early game status with this, because I've actually been doing a lot of work lately with SCC and that stuff, and those games are average less than 29 minutes. So
Yeah. I think, as far as I look at this draft, I kind of like AG Stride's draft a little bit with that Merlin and the Shibalanke. Um, but to your point, that early game and with Thor's pressure around the map, I think that Baseball Boys have a pretty good draft as well.
And I love Kuchu. Kuchu and Hercules are interesting in the meta right now because they require you to play the map differently than you would otherwise. Herc, because he has the strong invade presence, and he has good 1v1 potential against really anybody level 1, level 2, just because of his passive and how much Driving Strike does with his autos. And then Cullen, he just lets you ignore the soul lane. It does not matter if he gets invaded, so it lets your jungler, if he needs to get that farm on the blue, he can. But otherwise, he can ignore that lane and put all of his time and pressure into mid and dual lane and look to pressure out a Gold Fury very early.
Yeah, I think just the solo lane matchup specifically, they both just bring pretty different things. You have that huge pressure by Kuchu early, and then you have obviously that late game team fight by Ama that just is kind of unmatched when you're talking about adding the power to your team or adding the speed.
Yeah, but Ama no slouch in the lane either. After the
Absolutely
buff
not.
to her 2, she still clears really well. She has great healing in the 1, and then she has mitigation in the 2, so she'll be tanky in that lane, and she should be fine.
You know, I think you're right. That matchup is pretty even keel. I'm really curious about this mid lane matchup though. Like, obviously, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Kakulum will definitely, I think, take the advantage there, but as far as Amma can definitely hold her own in that laning phase.
But if we take a look at this mid lane though, the Agni versus the Merlin. Agni we haven't seen very much. Merlin is a staple in that mid lane, and we just be curious to see how that's played out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the Agni got level 1. I didn't see if he got his dash or not.
Looks like the dash. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely the dash.
So it looks like he will get about even clear here. Want to see where these mid laners are heading. Are they going to head straight to their red? Or are they going to go to the mid camps and then split that red with their jungler? Looks like... Yep. Both are just going to take their own red buffs. We see... Is the blue buff not dropped? I think Thor left a creep on that blue buff.
Looks like he left something.
Yeah, I think he... That's interesting. Because they were about on the same mid-timer, so... That's quite interesting and a little bit bad for the Kakulin, because the Kakulin hasn't even gone over to his blue yet.
He did hit level 2 though, so and he hit level 2 before the.
So I think it was one of the minis that he left.
Perhaps.
Okay, it was just the buff dropped on the minimap. Okay, because it just despawned. That's very strange.
Pretty good damage coming out of the mid lane here without his jungler there. Good double
see the
tap.
Thor? Oh,
He
hits
does.
the
He does
auto.
that auto. You know, that Agni really applied that pressure there. I think Rossetti took a little bit of damage from those minions, but Agni put out a lot of damage there without the Thor even being there, so it was just kind of a really easy cleanup with that double tap.
Definitely, and we actually see Bombi and them being pushed out a little bit in this duo lane. You would normally think that the Capriano would have a bit more pressure.
You know, the branching bolas in the early game is probably one of the best level 1
Yeah,
level for a ADC.
most definitely. You can get good damage on the wave, you can also get a little bit of poke on them, even pull the creep bagger a little bit when it starts branching to them. Definitely good for level 1.
So as we look at the builds here early on, I don't see anything that really stands out other than Thor having boots 2 already.
Yeah, we do see the Anher and the X-Ball going different routes in their build. We do see the Anher going towards the Devos and the X-Ball going towards the Trans. So that'll be interesting to see a little bit. I am a bit more fan of the Devos right now after the recent Trans nerf and the Devos buff. But Trans on X-Ball definitely still feels good for using a lot of those branching bullets late game because it is quite expensive.
I think the biggest factor when it comes to deciding between the two is this one. You're going to get your life cylinder build, and like the Aussie pickup, just at least for me, it just seems like extremely slow, and you want that lifesteal, and you're not getting it till 3rd item.
Yeah, because you're going to be investing, what is it, 6,750 gold to get those 3 items online with your Trans boots and Aussie. It's quite expensive. With your Trans being 2,600, your boots being 1,550 or 1,600 depending on what she goes for, and then 2,550 for your Aussie.
So they went ahead and invaded the Chad, so they're just going to be slowly climbing up as far as a lead.
Okay, and then we see Merlin going the Lost Artifact. He either has the option to build that into a Chronos or a Deomorph. We really don't know if he's going to... I doubt he goes into a Charon's Coin, and I don't think a lot of 2-hit rush on Merlin is that post. So.
We got a aggro jump here in the duo lane? No. Yeah, you know, I've actually seen a lot of different builds there. I think the Karen's Coin is a little bit underrated. I think that it provides a lot, especially if you are expected to have some early game fights.
I think it's alright, but I think second, it doesn't provide enough. You're more picking it up with your second hand, which you're not going to be using there. And we see the Thor over here in the duo lane. He's getting poked out a little bit. He might get turned on. There we go. The X-Ball ult, kind of some initiation. We see the Kepri shell come out.
The Agni is looking like he's hovering to rotate over. Might have some action here.
We do see the Pele just sitting in a farm arena. We actually see the Pele go attack speed boots. I imagine that he didn't have enough gold for power boots and did not want to wait.
Perhaps, yeah. So the Agni actually went over there and invaded that purple buff on the left-hand side of the map.
Okay, there's the
Have you learned your lesson yet?
interesting ult, considering that he still had the Salmon Leap.
doesn't really do a lot there either. You know, in fact, the Kuchu kind of comes out on top.
And with the T2 of the Doom Orb, we do not realize that that's what the Rebel's going to be going into.
I like it. I
Khepri's-
think that movement speed is nice for them to have, and then you know couple that late game with Amaterasu movement speed, and they'll be zooming.
Khepri and Anhra are both yet to back at 5 minutes in the game. So both of these dual lanes actually are yet to back. Pretty
kinda-
interesting.
It's kind of impressive. I think I didn't look at the number of pots they had, but I imagine they each had 4 pots at the beginning.
Yeah. Let's see, Khepri goes with the reinforced 3s, loads up on a couple wards. We do see both these Guardian's blessings completed. And then Zingshen actually opts for those mana boots so that he can get a little bit more cooldown, get his ult a little bit more, be a little bit more impactful, have his leap. The biggest thing that was Zingshen that helped bring him back into the meta was the fact that his leap was made a full leap to immune abilities. That's so key in helping him maneuver and mitigate some damage and not be able to
Yeah,
be poked out so easily.
still a bit short, but he can get through those walls and stuff too, so that's very helpful.
Yeah, with all these walls and Blink. Oh, I miss Blink. Still very popular, and I expect to see 1 or 2 in this game, but
You know, the thing about it is it's just there's not really any better options. You know, as you get to late game, it's
Yeah.
like as a jungler, you got to make the decision: do you want maybe Aegis, or you know, all the other options that exist are usually getting picked up by somebody else, or they're just not very viable. So
because it's one of the reasons that Mantle's always been so good is that it brings CC into your kit, and so you kind of get that same thing with Blink, is you get an extra movement ability in your kit, and adding something that your character just doesn't have naturally can enhance them. For like Pele can use the ult to get in, but then she's kind of
looks like we got a
can
gank
easily
over
pick
here
off.
on the left side of the map.
Yeah, I don't know
Fade
if
the
Bombi
purple.
sniffed this out. Bombi's a little far up.
He,
I think Bombi will be dead here.
he's definitely gonna get picked. He's gonna use his jump, probably use his way.
Yeah, he will be picked here. I don't. He definitely doesn't get anything in return. We did see him use the beads at the end there. For what, I'm not exactly sure.
You know, it's interesting there. I think that was just a little bit of overconfidence because he has wards in the
Yeah.
exact spot those guys pathed over, and he still placed himself way high up in the mid. So
Yeah, he beezed right after he finished his ult, which at that point he was 100 HP maybe.
not close, but perhaps a panic.
And- And especially with the fact that he decided to rush the Devos instead of going into boots. So he's not very fast at all. He should have definitely respected them there and realized that they both had boots, slows, and a lot of chase potential. Agni.
A little 300 gold lead by a red team, so nothing substantial, but shows that they're plugging away at that first blood.
We do see a split on those oracles. They do get Agni beats. That's definitely a good thing there.
I feel like they maybe could have killed that Khepri there. He had used his one dash.
Yeah,
Probably could have just ulted him back and made him waste his ult, but
definitely. They could have looked like a play there, play a little bit more aggressive. But
choosing to save it.
then again, we do realize that mid laner and them are looking to play a little bit slower with this X-Ball, this Merlin, this Ama. So I'd like to see the big aggressive play, but I can see their reasoning with maybe not taking any risks, playing this early game a little bit slower.
Oh, he is going in now mid lane.
As I say that, he dodged in the mid tower.
Chooses not to ult himself.
Oh, there we go. We see the Zing Shen shell. And then we
Thor
also see the Khepri shell.
Gets pretty low. This is the double tap. It takes the tower shot.
Should be fine, but I think this is a wash. I do not believe that there's anything going to come of this.
I
Maybe-
correct.
Maybe a backspeed if this Merlin's going to stay. Well, oh, Thor.
He is going
He's
in.
dead. He's going to... Oh, no. Zing Shen missed the
Oh,
root.
nice. Done.
That was just a little awkward. A lot of missed abilities and weird play there. But it ends up working out in the better for mid laner.
He
They end up
is
getting
still
it.
going in.
Yeah, definitely
Thor
don't do that.
Thirsty.
Yeah, that was not right. That was just 2-0
The,
Thor thirsting for a support on tower. Yeah, no, that's not
Thor is making some plays, albeit not always the smartest ones. He's making plays though.
He's feeling himself a little bit. We can say that.
You know, to his credit, being aggressive in that situation, and it could have paid off by taking a lot of the farm away from him, but just got a little too thirsty on that last one.
Yeah, we do see Sam actually a little bit ahead. She is level 11, while the Cullen's still stuck at level 10.
It's got to be close. I mean, they're probably not too far off. He's about to hit level 11, it looks like.
But then Alma was a little bit ways through 11, I believe. Because I think she was like halfway through.
Haven't been paying attention to where she's been rotating to. I imagine she's probably getting a little bit more on the back camps, but we do see
Pele ult down,
rotation
X-ball.
out of Kuchu. Alma's coming in.
Yep, we did see the Pele and X-ball go down for no ult trade on blue team, so a win for blue.
Definitely good to know. Hopefully, let's see if they expand upon that, of knowing that those things are down.
And then Agni Beads just came back up, so we might be looking for another fight here.
There's definitely going to be something going on at gold. They know about it, so we'll see how they play it out here.
They're not dropping it yet. They're going to commit to this. This is 50-50. Yeah. That
absolutely dangerous to... Sir Calamity's going to still clean up here. Look, it's got two.
Blue
They're
team.
Steal
oh.
And they got the wipe on the team with a double kill, 3 kills total.
Yeah, if we can check the grass real quick after that fight. That was a...
spike.
Yeah, they just went from 2k down, 2k XP down to completely even, and then they just went from about 300 gold down to 1700 in the lead.
That's how you turn a game right there. But it was extremely close as far as the securing of that. But these guys are just going to
Merlin
as well.
Merlin not very good at securing those objectives. A lot of burst, a lot of damage for him, but not a lot of burst and just secure.
And
so really,
coming in with those bombs is just huge.
Once you get it down to like 1500 HP, you kind of have to make the decision to drop it or not, because
Thor's ult in the backline. Thor's going to take out Skelto. He knew that ultimate was down.
We do see the Thor in the backline on the Merlin, 1-1. He will get turned on though, and I think he will be put down without that hammer. We do see the Thor Aegis, but yep, he is put down for being a little greedy with that hammer.
Well, he did ultimate the backline there and took out the Pele as well, so it was a jungle for jungle there. And then did they actually secure that pyro? I lost track of that there.
I believe that they secured that pyro.
All right, so all in all, they're continuing to expand that lead now. That's what they were looking to do. So
yeah, just back to that gold fight though. Very, very greedy, and you gotta make that decision. Someone's gotta be making that call to drop that gold fury and look for the fight. 50-50 at that point when you have the lead, it's not a good look, because you're either going to extend your lead a little bit more, or you're just going to throw away the lead that you've built up.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult knowing when you have Agni with such bursts, and he can stun everybody under there, so it's, yeah, they just, they went for it, didn't play out. Sometimes those things play out, sometimes they don't.
He jumped his place. He should die here. He should be put down definitely. I don't think the Xingqian needed to be the shell, but they get the pick.
Bombi has shown a lot of
disrespect,
moxie with those up downs that he keeps doing, and it's
Agni and Merlin. That's the Merlin flicker, but we do see this Cullen. There should be a pick on the Merlin here. But will we get the counter pick?
A lot of damage off.
We do see the Agni 1-for-1 mid laners right now. We do see the Pele having the advantage right now.
That was Merlin getting a lot of damage off there. Some people would just take the death, but showed some poise and getting off as much damage as he could before he died.
Yeah, and we do see him building into a tier 2. Probably a Spear of Desolation, but yeah, I don't think it can be. It could go Magus. I think Merlin's one of the only mages you can build Magus on at all right now, but I think it's still not the greatest option.
It's definitely. He went ahead and went into the Deso there, so.
Yeah,
and,
so
we see
there we go.
A lot of lifesteal coming out of Agni, so definitely different paths here, but both of them are going to do similar things, lots of damage.
Yeah, we should be seeing a Soul Reaver in this last slot. Don't imagine anything else. But
yeah, I agree.
Then with this, we'll see the Typhons, and honestly, I'm a big fan of the lifesteal build. I'm a huge fan of that build. I find that build a lot more fun, because you can just go run away, full heal off a camp, and just come back full HP.
You know, and then also to be said, in a lot of these fights where you're hitting a lot of people with your abilities, you know, you're just getting that much more sustained. So if somebody's about to get like that last tick on you, you know, it might fall short. So I'm a
Yeah.
pretty big fan of those builds as well.
The only problem that we're going to start seeing from this Agni is lack of percent penetration. He will get 10% with the Typhons. Yeah, the Zingshen got a little antsy there. Agni did a really good job of holding the dash, and you can dash on reaction from the Zingshen ult.
We do have four grouping up in this jungle here. It looks like they're just looking to invade some of these camps.
Yep, the Merlin's a little low by himself. I don't think he should be on that side of that low.
He looks like they're all out now though, so they went ahead and they successfully invaded some of those camps there. So
yeah, Alma and Kakulin were just fighting on the blue buff. It looks like Kakulin secured his own blue buff. Okay, and then we do see the Gold Fury respawning here. We should see both teams start setting up here and look for the next fight.
I think as we move forward here, I'm gonna go ahead and say that our blue team here is gonna have the advantage on these objectives. You have the Thor ultimate to go ahead and knock out the back line. You have On Her ultimate and Agni bombs. I'm just kind of leaning towards that being the advantage.
Yeah, but I do think that also something we have to call about is the fact that Red Team, through the last Gold Fury, lost a mid tower, lost Pyro. They're not far behind right now at all.
But they climbed right back into this with some of these invades.
They're completely even on gold right now. And XP is actually, they've gotten another... They lost their XP lead, and then they're back ahead 3,000 again.
Thor's going to go ahead and go up in the air here. He looks more defensively than anything.
He is half HP, but they might look to go with Merlin. Merlin Aegis. Pele on the back line and Agni.
Merlin is down.
Thor gets the Merlin pick.
A lot of damage out the back.
It's a pretty even fight right now. I think Red has the advantage here to push forward, though, and look for a Gold Fury. Khepri's by himself. Should see a pick.
Down here.
Bomb coming back in.
On Her does not up down. Might save his life.
That's some progress.
Yeah,
honestly, they should be looking for this Gold Fury. If this Honor comes over, the Pele, not the Pele, the Amma could look for the 1v1 on him. They're just gonna look to push the T1. Should get the pick here, because Xwell doesn't have the 2. Okay, but we get the Amma 2 to come out and get it. They will secure this red buff, and I think this Gold Fury is a little risky at this point. We do see the Agni respawning, the Kakulin's already here. I would not be pulling this Gold Fury.
If history repeats itself, I think they're going to go ahead and be ballsy for it, though. But I would imagine that they're going to be dropping this and trying to get a pick.
Okay, actually this isn't that bad, but it's only decent because the fact that Thor is in right lane for some reason. They don't know that, but yeah, they do know it now. So you just walk over that ward above the blue buff.
Stun coming out.
Agni should be put down here though. A little aggressive on that.
Looking to come in and save his Kuchu, and it ended up costing him as well.
Yeah, that Thor should not have been in that right lane, I don't think. I think that he should have came over because that Kakulin was making the Gold Fury defense. They were a little scattered on that decision.
Alright, so
back
it's a
fight. Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of impact from these ultimates on mid laner's team here.
We do see the Pele going into a Soul Eater. We saw a lot of that when she first came out. We've seen a lot of drift away from that, but still a lot of fun item, especially when they're not building anti-heal.
Yeah, I mean, we do have quite a bit of anti-heal, though.
Yeah.
Team here, though, so I don't think it's going to do her much good.
And then we see Bombi going into crit now. Crit 4th item, a little awkward, especially on her. Honestly, I'd probably just build a Kins there. We have a lot of health. Looks to fight.
Coming down on Thor, they go ahead and take out Skeleton there.
Pele, no.
They're not stopping.
Pele B's, but did not have enough time to get that ult off. Kakulin, probably dead here in the back line, but gets the X-Ball in trade though. That's the Khepri shell.
Being in his favor here.
Yeah, very back and forth fights. We see the Honor jump in. Impales away, it's the Amma shell. Zingshen should be put down. The Agni dashes into the wall.
Target focus, and the fight's kind of spread out all over the place, but
yeah, they do have business pushing on this mid T2. They might be looking right here. They're right in range, but Thor's being tanked by tower. Merlin dash in, Thor. Oh, he missed the one.
Merlin's aggression there is kind of questionable, but Calamity was able to get out.
Well, if Merlin hits the one there, he definitely puts the Thor down. We do see the Agni gonna die here though. Oh, some good Kepri res, good on her impale. And
Run
then to make
for your life.
Pele still has all. Pele just wants to clean here.
Up, down again, and it's going to cost him his life.
Double kill,
Huge
maybe a triple
turnout.
kill. I don't think he can reach actually. They can head towards Pyro though. They have the advantage on this Pyro.
I feel like looking back on that fight there, it was just a lot of spread. Everybody was kind of spread out, right? The DPS wasn't focused down on single targets. Even if you wanted to blow up that tank right there at the beginning of that fight, that probably is.
They won the first fight of that fight, but then they didn't really make a call for what they wanted to do. They didn't back up to the Pyro. They didn't really push for the T2. They just kind of waffled on if they wanted picks or not.
Yeah, and even before that, though, is what I was kind of referring
Yeah.
to. That the DPS is kind of spread out. If it was a little bit more focused target, you get those clean
A little
kills.
bit of cleaner fight, yeah.
And then that can result in more people being healthier, more people being alive as you get to actually try to take down that tier 2.
This is an interesting gold graph. It is just all over the place.
It has definitely been back and forth. A lot of that has to do with some of these fights that we're talking about, but it's definitely favoring mid laner and his team here.
The Pele build, not a huge fan of that. But it's a build.
It appears to be a build with no identity.
Yeah.
You got a little power here, a little pen here, a little defense here. No true identity. Maybe that's to transition into more of a tanky in the late game. Sometimes we see that in the numbers.
Yeah. But we do see this Cullen's gonna. Does he still have a Salmon Leaf? Oh, big all out of him. He transforms. They're investing a lot in him. He should be put down.
He's definitely in trouble here.
Kepri does not have res yet. Shen all that feels bad as the solo laner. He got 4 ults to kill him. So they would have used 5, but they have Merlin.
Red team could be in a pretty good position to go ahead and take Fire Giant here, though. They saw the on her on this tier 1 tower on the left-hand side. He's moving to the tier 2, so by all intents and purposes, this is free.
Yeah. It definitely, I think that Cullen's pushed up a little bit too far. We saw his team was in that left and backing, and so just a little out of place.
So, although they invested a lot, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it, considering they got the Fire Giant. They're going to be able to, they're not losing a Phoenix or anything, so let's see how much they group up and shut down these things.
They're going to have these ultimates back up for this Gold Fury fight, which is the next big objective we're looking for. Because if I'm them, I'm probably looking to do that Gold Fury first. Because if you happen to get wiped for some reason, that Gold Fury could be a comeback mechanic. So just take that off the board, remove that little bit of a comeback possibility there, and just get the rest of these towers.
So
Extend your lead.
They have fire here, but they are not grouping up. So see that they will.
Luckily, nobody is right now.
Yeah. The worst feeling in the world is when you get a clean Fire Giant like that, and then one of your main damage dealers gets picked.
Yeah, because what I would probably expect here is, I don't know their current golden hand. If we can look at their golden hand, because I would expect just T2 and then back up to Gold Fury, and then possibly back for items. Yeah, we see 2,300 on the Ama, 2,200 on the Pele. Yeah, I would say take this Gold Fury, get those items, and then just push down the right. Give a kind of fake push for it. If you get something, you get something. If you don't, you don't. Because we still have about 2.5 minutes on this Fire Giant that they're going to have. So they have some time to push it and see if they can get it.
Ama went ahead and went for that Oni's, pretty standard solo lane item, and it's going to just make her even more difficult to kill. Interesting enough, too, she went ahead and went with the CAD, which is, as she's switching stances there, the sustain that she's going to get out of that is huge.
Yeah, and it also helps the rest of her team. You're going to see the Pele benefiting from that. It's very nice.
Alright, so maybe we look at Merlin's build here. What do you think that it'll wrap this build up? Oh, we are going to have a fight over here in right lane.
Just looks like they're feeling it out. On her is still in right. He has good percent pen. Right now he's at 30. The only one thing I think he's lacking a little bit is cooldown, but I think he'll probably go into like a rod. I think a rod would probably be pretty good.
Yeah, so I think the rod is something that, a mid laner salivates to get anyway, so as soon as he has that gold.
I remember back in the old days with Season 3 when it just boosted your magical power by 25%.
Yep.
Good old every game rod.
That should be a pretty free tower there.
Does
We
look
do
like
see a Emperor's armor coming out on Kefri too, so it's bolstering the defenses a little bit, but I don't know how much that's going to help when these guys are sieging as 5.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just going to back up to Pyro, set up this Fire Giant. A little bit of a passive call, but they were dwindled down to a minute on that Fire Giant, so.
So Agni might be a little bit out of position here. Good stun coming out, but his dash is currently down.
This is Beads. Aegis.
Just as well. Yep,
We saw the Zingshen blink there. Honor should be put down. That's his Beads. That's a Capriol. That's a very good position for Red. If they get a couple more picks, they might be able to just end the game. Because Cullen should be put down in the back. X-Ball's just life-stealing through it. Yeah, we should see this Cullen put down in a second here.
They could definitely shove it down here. Oh, kind of comes back to full position of that Agni there. Whole team at risk. Now we know that actives are down on her, ultimate is down on Kefri, so they can.
I think they can end here.
Freely here.
No, I'm pretty sure they can end here. He knocks up. Okay, no. On her leap is down 15, so you can just push in.
Yeah,
On her leap bounce back up for like another 7 seconds, so yeah, just. You can just bully him because he doesn't have any relics and doesn't have his. Yep, that's the first game.
There it is, game, set, match. Wow, pretty impressive. I think blue team was on a pretty good roll early game. Kind of what we expected out of their comp, but you know, red team just seemed to group better, fight better around those objectives, and they really punished those few times that they were out of position.
Definitely. The red team had a couple things that I'd like to see cleaned up for that game too. Had some not great objective calls, some pretty sloppy fights that were split, but hopefully we can see them get some of that coordination down and really pull it together.
Yep, let's go and take a look at the graphs here. Yeah, so X-Ball putting a lot more damage out there than the Honor. Then our mid lane damage, pretty
even. We see a little bit more out of Agni, but Agni also, I think, had a little bit worse positioning. The Merlin was dove on a lot harder and forced into a bad position a lot, but I think the Agni just fell a lot more into bad positioning, just playing a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah, he was definitely playing aggressive. You know, some of those calls, I think they may have been the right calls. They just weren't executed properly.
And then we saw the Thor kind of have some questionable calls, dive in towers and stay in the back line a little bit too long, but. And then we see the Cullen do a lot more damage than the Alma, but that's kind of what you would expect. You expect that Cullen have a lot more bully damage, but then the Alma just rotating in and making a big presence in lane.
He was definitely in there a lot in those, you know, big team fights, ultimate using both ultimates multiple times, so yeah, lots of damage to be stacked in there. Yep. Well, and we will be back shortly with game 2.
Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
We are back. This is Snai, once again, joined by Koja.
Hello, and we're ready to get into game two now.
Now, what do you think Baseball Boys needs to switch up to take down the stride this game?
I think that they had a good idea with the early game draft. I think if they're gonna try going for that again, they would need to play a little bit more up early. They kind of stayed in the early game with that Gold Fury steal, but I think that they would need to be more proactive with it or go for a more mid-late game team comp to try to stall out the game a little bit and do some late game team fights and see if they have a bit more success there.
Absolutely. So we'll see them go ahead and. So it looks like AG Stride is going to be in the first pick position here, and they're going to go ahead and ban out the Kama.
Yeah, we have seen them switch sides, and the Camazotz was banned by Sir Calamity in them last time. So we're seeing to switch of bands with the Persephone and the Camazotz right now.
Yep, two pretty standard bans. I mean, both of them do kind of the same things, right? Extreme amount of pressure in their respective lanes, very difficult to kill. So
Yeah, Persephone, very annoying to deal with.
they're going to go ahead and take the Thor away from from the Baseball Boys. Not surprising, that global pressure, and we will see an Odin ban this time.
Yeah, we didn't see it at all last game. We didn't see it picked or banned, and we will see it in the first phase this time. Very interesting. So we may see Calamity and them look to pick towards a Hell, or I would imagine a Hell. Afro also a little bit better in this meta. Changa, the worst of the three, but still, if you want to pick that, if you have a comp based around that, you can certainly pick her.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's definitely the worst out of those three. I think Afro is probably the best right now. Hell obviously can be extremely dominant in the right
I
hands.
think I think Hell is just in mid lane. She brings so much pressure.
Yep, pressure, and then once you get to late game, I mean, even if you have the anti heal, it's so hard to
Yeah, you just
answer.
run away and heal. And the two, just for the CC, I think that's the biggest thing is that all of the healers have some kind of CC cleanse. The problem with Changa is that hers is a self CC cleanse.
Yep.
Afro gets the full cleanse, heal damage, and just no CC on anybody for 2 seconds for her and somebody else. And then Hell just gets to pick who she wants.
So we see the last two bands is going to be the Humbats and the Merlin, and then they're going to go ahead and lock in the Cuckoo. Extremely difficult to deal with. Yet you step a pinky toe in the tornado and you lose half your health.
Yeah.
Just a very good god.
We do see a pretty high pick Achilles if they lock this in because Achilles was banned in the second phase last time. But I think that you could pick this a little bit lower if you wanted to. I would picking your solo this high is a little bit awkward because it gives the other solo a really good opportunity to just match you up in lane and pick. But we do see Emoja. That's definitely what I expected and was kind of thinking they would pick in that first slot. But
Maybe they have an answer for it. And then when moving back to the Achilles, I think he's still an extremely strong god in solo lane.
yeah,
And it comes back to you lost your first game, so maybe it's just going back with that comfort, right? Maybe they're more comfortable on it. Like let's just get the draft that we're comfortable with, so that we can answer back. And having
yeah,
the emoji on your team definitely gives you that ability.
yeah, definitely. I think Emoja is interesting because I think she has one of the higher skill floors of gods too. Is that if you don't really know what you're doing with her, she doesn't really do that much to be honest. Like her, you have to position her all correctly. You have to know what time do you want to use your one. You have to make sure you're hitting your one because if you're not hitting your one and you're using all your Omi in that, she just doesn't really do anything. And then if you're using your two, spacing it out to maximize your shields.
Well, we see a Neja picked up in a Horus. So traditionally speaking, if Horus is your support and Neja is your jungler, I think Neja probably fits the jungler role a little bit better, but Horus does as well. So I think we'll definitely see the Horus in
I
support.
Yeah, I think we'll see that horse support, and we've already seen a lot of lockdown coming down to help this Cuckoo hit his ults. Horus 2, Horus 1, very good abilities to stun and then knock up. Neja, of course, that banish, one of the premier setup abilities in the game. If you're playing Kukulkan or Thoth or Ra, you always love to see that Neja on your team.
Absolutely.
We see the Sobek ban. I think that's definitely a good ban here. We've been seeing a lot of resurgence of that in solo after that health buff.
And then the Jingwei was picked up as that ADC for Baseball Boys, and I think that that's just always gonna be a great one. Easy to get back to lane, easy to get away. Rat Band coming out, so they're getting away that global pressure.
Zingshen, they're going to respect what the Zingshen did last game. And Bombi will be on this Jingwei this game. Completely different style of what you're doing with the Her. So we'll see if he plays this a little bit more back and a little bit more poised than the Her.
Judging by this man's aggression, I'm thinking we're gonna see some dashes in, which I love, especially in Jingwei.
We'll see which hunter he's into. He might be against that X ball again, or maybe they'll look to draft a new hunter.
I would have liked to see probably the X Ball ban a little bit more. I think just the Darkness of Nights just gives so much, but
Yeah, I
it's
think what
mandatory.
they're worried about is the Emoja being picked by that Xing Shen, either through the pluck or through the Xing Shen ultimate into the root.
They get the Kali, so they're going for some late game there. Anubis Hover, is this a troll?
This is a troll. Kali, though, actually, very strong mid game. You go Boots Crusher, and once you get that her 2 maxed out, and you get to like level 9 to 13, she does a lot of burst damage with her stun 2 combo. She can basically take 3/4 of your health with the 2 and a couple autos. It is a lot of damage and a lot more than people expect with that Kali typically.
So we see Anubis and a Cupid, and I gotta be honest, I'm like, oh, they broke my heart. I was hoping to see it get the
Hades,
Hades instead. Hades does a lot of the same things that Anubis does, though, just a little bit better. So
not
I'm really
much,
liking that comp.
but not much better. But
A
yeah,
little bit better.
definitely. We do see mid laner and them actually swap a little bit, and they go to a bit more of the early game style themselves. Kukulkan, great early game. Neja, one of the best early game junglers in the game. Horus, amazing early game. Hades, about as dominant as you can get in the solo lane with the amount of healing he has, with the amount of clear at level 1 he has. There's quite honestly nobody in solo lane that level 1 just pushes like Hades.
So what are we gonna see out of this last pick here is the question.
It's going to be the mid laner. They're going to want something a little bit safer. I I would expect to see something like a Ryzen. You might see them run back the Agni, but
They go
we
with the
will
hell.
see the Hell. Okay, so I called the Hell pick with the Odin ban in the first place. Took a little while to get there, but we got there in the end.
So as I'm looking at this draft, specifically, I look at Baseball Boys here. I really like their draft on paper, but I love the draft of Stride. I think the Wombo combo that you can come up with Cupid and Hades, uh,
Yeah,
with the Cuckoo ults, and they are, you know, they have a lot going on here, and I like it.
I think the issue is that really when you're looking at it, Hell has good early, but then you're looking at Kali and Achilles has okay early, but compared to the Hades, I think the fact that Baseball Boys drafted a pretty good early game comp last game and was kind of falling behind a little bit, that does spell some issues when they take a late game comp and Stride picks an early game comp. I think that they should have had the pressure last game, but they didn't. What happens when they're not supposed to have the pressure?
That's a good point, man, and I think that
Or are we
that's
going to
why
see us?
I lean even more towards this draft when you put it in that perspective that they were able to stay even with a team comp that probably shouldn't have, and even get ahead. And now that they have the comp that's dominant in the early game, I think it just kind of spells disaster for Baseball Boys here.
Yeah. Kali and Neja have about the same jungle clear. Kali actually is very good early jungle clear. The Butcher Blade, she has the life steal with it, and then she also has just really good damage. Good low cooldown. Same Neja will clear a little bit better though. Hades out clear a lot in solo. We do see the Warriors Blessing T1 Helm. We will see that probably go into a Jade Emps Crown. I'd imagine that's probably the selection there. Cuckoo, we'll see the book. Pretty standard. Cuckoo, the passive for mana. They took it down 1%, but still very good for him.
I like Hades going with the Bancrofts 2 over a build like this, but I mean I can definitely see the merit in going to something like this.
Yeah, and then really standard starts around the board. We do see Bombi show that Devo's love again. Definitely a little bit less questionable in the Jingwei. Jingwei doesn't get much use out of trans. She loves Devos. And then Cupid. Cupid is the best hunter in the game for trans because of all his scaling. His heart bomb procs twice. His heart bomb, his 2 also has 3 different ticks, which give you up to 90% because it's 30 each. And then his ult hits twice for 90%.
More surprising probably than anything is the fact that they have lost pressure with the Incompetent on their team.
We don't see the emoji using her autos to heal the Jingwei. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was gonna say, should we see in those autos?
Imagine that a kill is very possible here.
They'll keep it backed off a little bit. I don't think they would have gotten that kill, but I think the horse was going a little bit for it.
Always fun to see some action in duo lane, that's for sure. It's also fun to see a emoji get pushed under a tower, because all too often that is the opposite happening.
Definitely. We did see the emoji shell there, so that shell is down for another about 2 minutes.
That's going to be a good cooldown to watch on this side of the map for sure.
Yemoja,
if we can get on a roll.
Yemoja is out of pots.
My judgment.
And then we see that Horus only have a couple health pots because he did start with that Hand of the Gods.
So, you know, as you look around the map, I mean, nothing I would say is really that much of a surprise. I'm kind of surprised that Hell is going towards that book right off the bat as well. Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Obviously, she wants to be able to spam those abilities, but it's also dangerous. I mean, her health pool is really, really low right now.
Yeah. Really with Hell, I'd probably favor more towards a little bit the Chronos start. A little bit less popular right now, but Hell gets so much out of the MP5, the 20% CDR. She just loves that item. And then we do actually see AG Stride building up a bit of a lead. We do see a 500 gold lead. Not much to write home about, but still, a little bit to start off the game.
I imagine as we move into some of these objective fights, though, we're gonna see the strength of this comp for sure. Especially once this Cuckoo ult gets online. There's nothing I hate more in this game than coming out of the jungle to a Cuckoo ult in my face. It happens all too often.
Definitely. We do see that Yemoja shell coming back up in 10 seconds, so it goes relatively unpunished with using that cooldown early on. Good stun by Yemoja because it caught the Horus too.
There's the
that was unnecessary to use both of those. They didn't need to use either of those. He was completely fine. Especially as a Jingwei, you could just back up and reset. Lose a creep or two, but you don't use a beads or a shell. Those are long cooldowns.
She is running a little bit low on mana. We do have the Kali coming in over here. Looks like they're looking for a gank. But it must be spotted out because they are quickly retreating.
No, they don't have a ward over here, so it's just...
A little instinctual.
Oh. That's what I'm saying, that Kali burst damage. It will surprise you every time. She gets that physical power when she pops that 2, when she pops the 3 and then she uses that 2.
So they have no ward coverage, but they have no ward coverage either, so...
Nezha should not go.
Nezha is 5 as well.
Got the 5 there. That is a pick.
There we go.
That is first blood. And that actually puts them up 1.2k already.
So it looked like Nezha was hugging that wall to hit 5, if I'm correct?
Yeah.
And that was a very good play.
A little bit closer than 5 than I thought.
That's definitely one way you turn the pressure in your lane. They were coming in with that pressure because of the Kali rotation, and then Nezha comes in, hugs that wall, hits 5, and turns it on its head.
Yeah, we do. This solo lane's gonna be pretty boring for everybody involved.
Almost every solo lane.
Yeah, but Hades is just such overwhelming pressure. You can never really, unless you get a strong jungler gank, which you're not going to be getting from a Kali early. It's just impossible to kill him.
You need to talk to everybody in my rank games then, because it's pretty much confirmed that it's my fault that the solo lane is boring as a jungler. Alright, so we got a back coming in mid. He's going to finish that bow. They got the book finished. He have quite a few stacks on it already, so the mana sustain is not a problem. He's going to go ahead and finish boots too. I imagine that Hell will be back in here pretty soon, accomplishing the same thing unless she's going to go ahead and wait for full boots.
Yeah, the emoji fine gets her back off, gets her cooldown boots. I'm typically more of a fan with the emoji with going, typically you just rush boots and then you go into breastplate and then you go your Gauntlet of Thieves third. Because that CDR gives you the bonus Oni regen, and then that extra breastplate mana gives you another extra extra Omi,
Yep.
and so that just really helps you with the regen, the extra Omi, and then just makes Cuckoo beads.
Coming around.
Cuckoo gets some damage on the Emoja, but she'll heal that right back up.
I think they got what they came for, though. You got to the Cuckoo beads, you got the Cuckoo ult, so you got a Hades ult coming out. Just like help clear the way.
That Jingwei gets out 1 HP. Did have to use the airstrike though, and did use the beads. So
And that
overall a win.
that is what Xingwei does. You think you have her killed, and she's gone.
Yeah, just such a safe god.
Utilize that passive comeback and lose no farm. That's always good.
The passive has to have, it should have a cooldown. The fact it doesn't, it blows my mind.
The Cupid's got a 2-level lead now, though, so he's making a lot out of this Cupid.
I imagine, yeah, Jingwei just hits level 6, so ends up being about a solid level though.
Right.
Cuckoo beats still down for 100 seconds. They should look to make use of this with the Emoja all coming back up in about 50 seconds. Good poke on the Emoja.
Damage is only going to get worse. Again, put your pinky toe inside that tornado. Fight over in solo lane.
Hades does not care about this fight at all. He just wants the blue buff. What a solo laner.
Pretty good ult coming out on the pretty good fight overall. I think maybe there was some potential to kill that Kali, but
He secured the blue buff, he doesn't care.
he's out. Skelto's looking to secure that blue buff as well, so pretty big win there for a stride as
Overall, pretty even. A slight XP lead that's going to AG Stride. We do see the Hades, the Horus, and the Cupid with a 1-level lead. And we actually just see the Coconut full level head and the Neja, so not gonna die, but will take a lot of damage on that Jingwei.
and that's just Cupid getting even bigger off of this pressure that he's got.
We do see the Cuckoo pick up the Emoja. Looks like the Neja didn't use ult, so it was just a free Cuckoo ult.
Look at that.
Awesome.
That is Cupid here.
Wasn't the target the archers? Come on, archers.
Neja
Jingwei.
Neja does not have blink, so I doubt she's gonna get to this.
Oh.
She's the get to it.
Wait, we see the horse all coming across. We should see a double kill here.
Big rotation right here. That's nice.
Nope. They decided to just focus solely on the Jingwei.
Skelto making another great play. Not very often you're going to see a Neja utilize her ult
They do
from
have
the
a-
distance.
I was gonna say they could go for this Gold Fury. There is a ward on it. We do see that Baseball Boys has a ward. They do not have the Cuckoo for secure, yeah. They know that this is happening. This is a very risky Gold Fury.
They went ahead and leashed it.
Yeah, and they
You
should
have
pull that
Hades coming
themselves.
in the back, and Hell
Oh.
is oh, that he's coming back.
Yeah,
and
they
they know
just
that
have to-
Hades is there. You know.
This entire fight has to drop with the Hades rotation.
That's
Good
a good
rotation lineup.
Good discipline call to drop that.
I mean, they didn't have the choice to drop, but the person who was tanking had died.
Well, there's always a choice. They could have stayed in, and everyone died.
The person tanking it died. The Neja was 1 HP and ran away. That would. I mean, the decision was death. Like,
Interesting that looks like Cuckoo's getting pressured mid lane. Oh, he gets the turn kill on him.
Those scoundrels really didn't.
yeah, and I don't know what Bombi's going with the build right now, but it's a thing.
Decided to forego Devos to get a little more attack speed.
Devos, Bloodforge, take your pick. You definitely finish that Spike Gauntlet, though. You definitely don't just leave it at T1 Gauntlet.
Well, I think the Cuckoo went ahead and hit over there to get that kill in the mid, so that's down yet again. He's
Yeah.
getting to a point where it doesn't really matter. Like, he's going to have enough frontline pressure to where all he's got to do is recast.
Neja does have ult. We should see a pick here.
Definitely.
Apologize for the bothersome
The ult was dropped, but See more of like a panic ult than anything
And
there.
we do see about a 3K lead for AG Stride already, 10 minutes in.
Look at this graph. It's just been that slow bleed. Like no real
Yeah.
crazy spikes in gold, but just slowly winning, you know, all these little small objectives with the invades and getting these picks.
I'm so curious what Bombi builds into here with this. There's nothing great you can build here because XC they're not taking up the, and that Kuku just did 900 damage at 11 minutes.
Great little CC chain to make sure that hit. But
Yeah. It's not looking great for Baseball Boys. They really need to look to turn something, get some of their own farm, and they just need to look for some of these picks because they're starting to get bled out, which is what we were worried about.
They went ahead and got the Mommy got his beads pulled there, so no beads in the left lane now. Hell's coming in low. She's gonna put herself in really.
She's not gonna be able to get to this in time.
Pretty rough.
She should be picked here. Yeah. Plus Kali should. We get a surrender vote.
Well,
yeah. So we see that Hell not going to be doing any damage because she's going to book a Thought Boots breastplate. And then we...
Difficult position you're putting yourself in there when you're going to go low and put yourself out of position when you know they're on gold right there. I don't know if they maybe just thought she could get that. Like, quickly? Perhaps? I'm not sure.
I hate repeating myself, but... God, why did this go into XE? Why is it a second item XE on Bombi?
I'm trying to think of maybe a justification. Can't really give you one.
Yeah, don't try. The only thing would be try to kill the Hades, but you're not killing that Hades. Level 13, Jade Up Crown and a breastplate at 4 minutes. Just focus on the squishies and try to get those picks and build yourself up a little bit.
I anticipate we're going to start seeing some gas metal here shortly. We got a lot of the key items built by both teams. Well, not by both teams, by Shy.
We do see the alt miss because we do see the Hell beats come out there. Good beats out of her, but 2-1 does 1 million damage. And yeah. Very interesting fight there.
You know, when it comes to the Emoja, this is why Emoja can suffer when she's ult. She can suffer in a lot of these scenarios if that ult isn't being used aggressively. Like if that ult is being used as a defensive tool. Now in sieging, it can be used as a really good defensive tool, but not in the same category.
He should die to that, yeah. And that just, we see that bleed coming out that now that they have that early game comp on mid laners team, on AG Strike, they're kind of just putting a gas pedal on, pushing on the pressure. We would have expected Baseball Boys to try to do last game with their draft.
Right. And they're playing the CC chain really well. The Neja is really putting the, you know, both the Cupid and the in a really good position to follow up with their damage.
Yeah, and with the Emoja and Achilles dead, looks like they're gonna back up. Hades can invade this blue buff that he loves so much. We've seen early game that he will do anything for that blue buff. Let his jungler almost die, whatever it takes.
You know, I think as I look back too, I don't believe I've seen one Neja sash that didn't result.
Yeah, they've been really good about making sure not to bait the jungler out. Yeah.
A lot of times when, you know, you see Neja kind of not being relevant, it's because she doesn't have that solo potential that maybe once did.
And we just see Bombi, again, hating his lifesteal that he has.
And building more items. That's interesting. You know, maybe the rationale is that I need to be able to fight instead of, you know, sustain through the fights, but...
Yeah, but the full XC early game, just like the damage you're going to be doing to everybody else, just... Your damage to the Cuckoo, Neja, and Cupid, the ones that you actually have a chance of killing, is just so much lower by it.
Well, I think of it too, like you really should just be looking at farming up that duo.
Honestly, His only option with this now is to go a Bloodforge late game with it. He's just gonna have to keep it and hold on to it and go Bloodforge. I assume that's what he's gonna do. We do see the blink ult out of the Nezha, and this Keepin will come down very low. Yeah. I honestly expect them to push the T2 here. They're in a
They got to
pretty
wait.
good position to push here, yeah.
Kali's coming over, but she's not really gonna be able to do much. You're not gonna...
Yeah, she does have blink and beat, but I don't even think that ult was needed, to be honest, but they make sure to put her down and make sure that they're confirming that kill and getting the push going. No, I think they're going to step back to this Gold Fury. We do see the Hades going to make sure mid's pushed up.
He's keeping too busy, so they're definitely gonna be able to push this with those two.
Yeah. That was good of Hades stopping back, so you see a Kali ult. She realizes she's dead no matter what, tries to clear as much of the wave as possible. But unfortunately, as long as somebody's in there to tank up that while the minions die, it's going to keep the backdoor prots off and an easy left Phoenix.
Cupid gets scammed, he
16
doesn't
minutes.
get to pick up any of his hearts.
16 minutes in, we see a Phoenix, and at all of it, the left side Phoenix, farthest from the Fire Giant, that is rough and will be very difficult to deal with going forward.
I mean, and they get a Primal, so they're going to do increased damage, and if we get a 10,000 gold lead, I imagine we're going to see some backs group up, fire, and then they're just going to shove it down.
Yeah, there has to be backs here to take this lead. Doing fire at this point, they can do it, and they have the better secure, but they have to be careful around it still, because fire will do a lot of damage to you at this point. 17 minutes, it'll still hurt.
I would look at it, you know, just as the massive lead that they've established here. Like, you can just kind of dance around fire. If anybody shows up, you just kill them.
Yeah. No, definitely, that's what I'm... You get it kind of low, and then burst it. Make sure that you're bursting it if you're going to fully commit on it. Make sure that everybody's on that same page.
The Hades is looking at pretty massive, though, at 1 level per minute.
Because a 10k lead is good, but if you lose that Fire Giant, that lead kind of starts to disappear a little bit.
Oh yeah, some of these massive some big bounties.
Yeah, we do see the Cuckoo with the Poly now, so chunking those Phoenix is going to be a lot easier too. Honestly, in that call, I think you send someone. I think you send probably your Demoja. Just wall off the Fire Giant with the ult and just try to go for a steal with it, because they're so far behind, and that left Phoenix being down already, they're not in a good spot to defend. And speaking of not a good spot, that Achilles, not in a great one.
Well, I think Skelto is going to take every opportunity he can to bully out a solo laner as a jungler. So.
Oh yeah. We do see that they got the purple buff on left side, but I mean, AG Strides is going to take that opportunity, push down the right Phoenix, and now they've split Phoenixes with fire minions.
It's definitely not looking good here. I think one decent pick, and they can probably just end the game.
Yeah.
It's just this fire minions start rolling.
I think they'll need a little bit more than one pick because the respawn timer's so short right now. They're like 20 seconds or less. Cuckoo ult doesn't connect. We do see the Hades ult coming through, grouping them up, the Horus ult coming through. Kali going to the back. They should be able to put down the Kali and then the Achilles right after. Yep, we will see him put down. This Umoja has no Omi. The Cursed Stomp comes out. Hell in the back line running away. Jingwei might die to that Hurfong. She is put down. We do see the Umoja get put down as well. Nezha is going to be putting down his health, some health right here on the landing. Or maybe.
A little extra on top. I think it was already over. But, wow,
yeah.
They just close it out in 20 minutes.
16,000 gold in the lead.
You know, I think they took the lessons they learned from game 1 and knew where they could abuse them, and they just took it to them. And they took it to them with some picks that you don't traditionally see. I know Hades is pretty popular, but the Nezha and the Cupid specifically. Nezha hasn't been as prevalent in the jungler, but she still does exactly what. He does exactly what needs to be done.
I'm with you on that. She, whatever he did his job. he made sure that he was setting up and had very good sashes to set up for the cuckoo and to set up for himself.
Like to baseball's credit, I think they did have a good draft. They just didn't execute it, as well as they needed to. The Emoji needed to get a lot more pressure in that early game, and unfortunately, they just didn't have that happen.
Yeah, I think a little scatterball in as far as the draft a little bit, because Kali kind of you're trying to all in and dive and get like that full kill, but then with the hell, you're kind of looking to sit back, and then the Yemoja has one good fight when she ults, and then afterwards she kind of has issues with her Omi and actually staying relevant in fights. So they kind of had some, we're going to play it safe and have delayed fights, and then we're going to just all in. So I think some better identity there, maybe a bit more early game presence, and a little bit better decision making would have helped a lot.
Yeah, and if you look at the stat line across the board, you can really see where the pressure was applied. It was applied in that mid lane and that duo lane.
It was applied everywhere. They had pressure everywhere.
That Cupid, though, Cupid doing 4 times the damage of the Jingwei. They just
Yeah.
really put the Jingwei on I'm going back to my base and then I'm coming back to lane over and
Cupid
over and over
made
again.
sure whenever he got ult the Jingwei, get her ult, never make her feel comfortable in lane.
Yep, that'll be it for me, Snai. Enjoyed spending some time with you, Koja, and I think Big Rick will be joining you for this next set. And
Definitely.
everybody take care.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I woke awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? What can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero.
And we're back. This time, though, I am joined by Big Rick. Sny has headed out for the day.
What's going on, everybody?
And we're going to be getting ready to get into the second match. That first match, very exciting. Some pretty quick games, but definitely interesting to see how the different teams were playing it.
Yeah, I think just that late game comp kind of never came to fruition for baseball's boys.
Yeah,
Collie never got out of the oven.
and then we're going to see right now AG Crusaders versus Incompetent Strategy. And that will be our last set for the day.
Yeah, and a Persephone band coming right out of the gate.
Yeah, Persephone, just too dominant of God. Just her ultimate applies too much. The flowers. You can kill the mage and she gets her damage off still. It's just very annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it's a really fun ability.
Then
We
we
thought
see
that was okay.
Persephone and Cuckoo. Very heavy mage presence right now. And then we see the Yamoja Hunbat's ban. Camazot's not banned yet. We saw Camazot's ban in the first there. There we see it. Just about to talk about it, but
Yep, Humbats
Schroeder.
and Yamoja getting banned too. So strong
Slate,
bans coming out of Incompetent Strategy. Maybe they're competent after all.
Slate Biscuit and Co. gonna take care of that for me. Don't have to talk about it because they ban it away. And we see the Odin ban. Still a lot of good picks up. We still see the Thor's open, the Merlin's open, Jingwei, X-Ball. A lot for them to pick from. And they're going to prioritize this Merlin.
Yeah, we've seen Merlin a lot in the SPL games. He just provides a ton of zone control, a lot of objective shred, and I mean, you can take down Fire Giants and Titans pretty damn quick with Merlin.
Definitely. And then we see this Thor come out. And then, do we expect them to see it pick a support here? We could see them go towards that Zing Shan or the Horse we started seeing today. But we could also see them maybe pick towards the ADC, and if they have a preference towards the Jingwei or the X-Ball, we could maybe see that picked up.
Yeah, I would probably like to see a Xing Chen here. Just be able to cover all the ground that Merlin can and flicker and just stay on him and be a bit of a beads burning comp. Let Thor and Jing Chen go into the back line. I think that would be a good dive strat, but we're
We
actually
will.
going to see Scylla.
I would have waited on that Scylla pick. You already kind of know what their mid laner is. You're not super worried about them picking it. I probably would have looked for a bit more priority there. Unless you're looking to counter pick with this third pick. Probably could have let that Scylla drop to that third.
There's the Xing Chen, and that's going to be on the Albion Crusaders over there. So they're going to pick him up and get him in the with the second pick of the draft. But he makes it through. He makes it through the snake.
Yeah, and then they have a lot of options here. They could pick up a hunter themselves here, and then if the Rising Birch don't pick it up, then they could just ban out hunters and have really good matchups over. We'll see the X-Ball try to mess up the Thor and Silhouettes a little bit. Kind of dissuades a bit of the Kepri play. So, overall, solid pick.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick here for AG Crusaders. I think Incompetent Strategy may be able to counter it with something like a Cupid that would really shut down Xing Chen and have X-Ball in lane beat pretty well. But I really like the draft coming from Crusaders so far. That X-Ball ult, I can't see. That's going to be huge in the middle of some of these team fights. And like you said with the Thor and Scylla ult, I think it's a good counter pick right there.
Definitely. If they're worried, if their ADC's kind of worried though on Incompetent Strategy about getting banned out a little bit, I don't know exactly what his god pool is. They might want to pick that hunter now, but if they're feeling confident with it, I'd probably go towards a support pick here and leave that ADC pick drop. Let them ban out some ADCs. But they're gonna pick their solo here. A little interesting. Pick the solo that high.
Yeah, maybe they prioritize the Vamana. I think he's really strong. He's unpeelable on that back line. He may have a tough time sticking to the X-Ball, but I think that's a good pick in the Merlin.
Yeah. Vamana is, I guess, a little bit different than other solo laners because you're not really looking to fight with Vamana. You're just kind of looking to proxy and run away and just farm. So it's not super matchup dependent what you're playing.
Yeah, you're going to look for him to go on the back line in his ult, stay alive long enough to really keep probably this Merlin out of team fights and stop them from dictating where the fight's going to happen and split up that team fight a good bit.
We see both the teams hitting the Guardians right now.
With the Thor and Vamana.
We see the Sobek and the Kumba band, and then we just see the Susano band. Interesting. And then Jingwei. We do see one of the ADCs banned away. The other premier ADC besides X-Ball, Ho Yi. Ho Yi has seen a huge spike in popularity, especially in SPL and high-level competitive. We've actually seen him banned quite a number of times in the first phase.
Yeah, he's just got really strong boxing ability in lane. His ult is not only decent secure, but also huge zoning, especially in a fight in the Fire Giant Pit or on a Phoenix Siege, anything like that. I would have liked to see them take the Jingwei instead, because I think that plays better in the Xing Chen. But it's fine. I think Hu Yi's also a very strong pick.
Hu Yi has a pretty decent matchup into this X-Ball.
That's true. I don't think he will have the worst of times. I just know as a Jingwei player, I would love to fly out of that whirlwind before getting thrown into the enemy team.
Most definitely. And then this last pick, we're going to see a Cerberus. We're going to see, most likely that Cerberus in solo. Could see him in support. But in that solo against the Vamana, that anti-heal would be a little bit nice if they're going to look to gank over there with the Thanatos, which they definitely could. That execute very strong tool will go through the Vamana health shield.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I like the way that AG Crusaders draft has gone. I think it's a very strong draft. Like you said, with the Kerberos and Thanatos, they will be able to kill that Vamana relatively early in lane if they can execute it right. And then we see Athena coming out from Incompetent Strategy.
Yeah, we see both teams with very strong setup. We see the Athena taunt Thor coming out, but then we also see on the other side, we see a Xingchen Cerberus. That is a lot of setup and a lot of potential peel.
A lot of beads going to be burned in this fight.
Okay. As we start getting this one, we see the serve DC'd and our cameraman dancing. Oh. Okay. 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 And we will see pretty even pressure across the map. Mid will go a little bit towards the Merlin, but the Scylla will have pressure that first wave because she can throw the crush on speed and then run away. A little bit of advantage that she has there. Merlin could throw the ice, but then he's an ice stance level 1, so it's not. You could honestly do it that way, and it'd be fine. Okay. Yeah. So Shro has DC'd while we're waiting for him to reconnect. We'll just be waiting here and we can talk about the builds actually. We DC the Cerberus, building into the Warrior's Blessing, Health Chalice, a couple of multi-pots. The Assassin's Blessing, T1 Mace for Thanatos, pretty standard. Merlin, slow to build. Xing Shen has Guardian's Blessing, T1 Boots, bunch of health and multi-pots, pretty standard. Going to the Shell, I'm still a pretty big fan of going Blink first on Xing Shen, but honestly, Shell, can't go wrong with it. Especially into the Scylla, a lot of damage, Thor. And then X-Ball, going back into that Transcendence we've seen so popular today with X-Ball. Vamana, Health Chalice, Warrior's Blessing, T1 Boots. Love that rush. You're not looking to fight, really. You're just looking to be mobile and rotate. Just rush your boots. Your health sustain will be fine with that Health Chalice. Thor, going into the... Thor going into Hog, I'm not a huge fan of, but I know that a lot of people do prefer it. Thor has pretty good clear on his own. Just
I'd tell you what, I got a Hog for you.
Yeah, Hog
I
is
love
just...
Hog in the jungle. I think it's a good
I
pick.
like Hog too, but I like Hog in like the awkward clear junglers where they had a bit of an issue clearing those back camps before, like a Wheelix or I'm trying to think of other Bastet or those kind of gods that always had like they need a little bit more time to get their clear up for those back camps, and then it's really staggered for the blue. I liked saving that second ability on backs and then hogging the backs and then doing the blue with that second ability. So I think that Thor already had really good clear and was fine with it, but I know that a lot of people do prefer it. So,
When the world closes in on you, I will...
and then we do see the Devos coming out for the Hoi. So we do see that Trans versus Devos builds it down.
Yeah, no funny business on Invade so far. Both teams electing to get the purple and head to lane. Athena and Hui gonna get there first. So let's see Incompetent Strategy build some pressure there in the duo lane.
Yeah, we do see the Thana running pretty far behind. The Thor significantly far behind, even though they both had Hog. There wasn't a... Do you see Schrodinger get poked out in mid as well? Very weak. Yeah, Thana running a couple seconds behind this Thor. Caught up a little bit of time with the Cerberus helping on the blue buff, but... Schrodinger already electing to back.
Yeah, I think he's... I don't think he has enough for boots.
We see some brawling.
Just see if there's a boots rush, but this early in, I don't think he can.
No. We do see a lot of fighting in that duo lane, and we did see the Athena have to pop the shell to survive.
Duo lane is back, baby. I love to see it. I love seeing that.
Watch out. Watch out for this Thor and Scylla gank. Very early gank that has some kill potential if they play it right.
Yeah, 4-man rotation coming over into the duo lane, and I don't think they know, but Fleet's gonna pick up the first blood anyways. I think that's worth. You get a 4-man rotation, you got to kill off of it, and an even trade, and you got the first blood gold.
The Scylla lost the entire mid lane there. So I understand the thought with the Athena to want to taunt in, like, bait yourself, but he should have pulled back and kept that taunt at max range, and then immediately charged his dash to dash away. I think he overcommitted to that kill himself and ended up giving up first blood, unfortunately. Bit of a misplay from him there, but overall 1 for 1 shakes out pretty even. A little bit of an edge though, It actually shakes out really evenly because the kill went to the support. Super nice for him to get that first blood as a support main. Trust me, we love first bloods. Give first blood to your support. But support first blood, probably not the ideal target you'd like that to go to.
Yeah, it would have been a little better on the X ball. I do see Thanatos taking a little bit of an XP lead in the jungle.
We do see blue team being the more aggressive at this and getting the better hand of this duo lane right now.
Yeah, Thor's gonna back on blue buff. I would have liked to see him take those mid harpies. I don't know if he knows that he's ahead and clear of the Thanatos, but those are coming up now, so he might have been able to get there first, but may have had a fight that he didn't want. So he's just gonna go over the duo side and go straight to red.
Brawling early with that Thanatos in the jungle. Thor is good early, but Thanatos is just a different kind of early.
Not something that you want to do. That's a fight I've been in too many times. It is not fun eating a scythe before level 5 because that does about half your health.
Yeah. We do actually see the Vamana solo kill on the Cerberus. We did see the Cerberus. The Cerberus was being very greedy, staying for that wave. I imagine he was waiting for. Yep. He was waiting for a full Jade Em's crown. And he only ends up getting the T2 because he just overstayed. He was just an overall greedy play and hope that
if you're Shro right now, that is the last thing that you want to see on your kill feed is the enemy Vamana getting an early kill and taking the lead because he's in about 10 minutes. You're gonna feel it.
He's gonna hunt you down.
I'm gonna look for Irenic Goose to really push this lead, do what Vamana does, clear wave, rotate out. He's already taken one set of back harpies away from the Thanatos, so he's gonna slow down their jungle a little bit. I'm looking for a Goose to really take this lead and start controlling this game from the solo side.
Yeah, but then we do see Call Me Rich controlling this mid lane pretty handily. Made the Merlin back after that second wave, and then right now, this Merlin on the back foot.
Knowing Shro as a player, he knows Scylla very well, and I don't expect him to. I don't expect him to take a ton of root crushes. I think he's going to play that carefully because he knows exactly how much damage that'll do, and it's only going to get worse as this Scylla has finished Chronos Pendant first, and she can fight with this Merlin.
We do need to see some more wards coming out of this. Okay, we should see a pick here though with the crush. Yep, there we see the ult.
The Wardon comes in a little off the mark. He's able to get back in range with that hammer, drop Thanatos low, and the I'm a Monster from Call Me Rich. Nice little gank in the mid lane, gets the kill on the jungler and slows down the stamina even more.
That's Scylla Crush, a little aggressive. He wasn't gonna get the kill, and he used his last mana that he could have used to escape.
Wall is good from Maelstrom.
You can't teleport to that. You should not teleport to that. Merlin just doesn't have the abilities up, but Thor doesn't have the mana to fight that there. Overall, a little bit of sloppy play there. Call Me Rich really wanted to go aggressive on that, but just didn't have the mana to.
Shro flickers in, and they're going to pick up a kill on the Thor. Good rotation from Sleek coming out to help his mid laner.
But good rotation from Athena. That's a good pick. These supports, that's a battle. That ult is nothing. That was a wasted Zing channel.
I don't know. Encrypts. Oh, he just barely gets out. The birthday girl escaping with a sliver of HP.
Yeah, even if you get that pick, it's not super worth because it's a solo pick by yourself and your ult's down to like actually communicate a good fight that you could look for, especially on like a red invade or something like that.
That was a really long and staggered team fight in mid just now. We had a mid going, we had a jungler going down, then we had a mid get eliminated. Supports come back in a little later. That was a very extended
team fights being a little generous with what just happened there. It was a little bit more.
The team fought, maybe not all together, but there were people there.
There were, but a majority of the team did fight in that fight at one point or another. Yeah.
Fight over oracles here.
We do see AG Crusaders pick up both of those.
Yep.
Guardian's Blessing not fully stacked yet for this Athena. A little bit behind in that Zing Shen as far as that goes. And also a little bit behind in the XP. Okay, and the Cerberus did finish his JDM crown and got his T1 boots on the line, so that JDM's crown that he thirsted for off the start, he finally does get to hold that in his hand. And then we do see the different mid starts. We do see the Scylla go for the Chronos Pendant, and the Merlin going for that Doom Orb start. We did see out of the Merlin earlier as well.
Yeah, purple boots coming out of the Scylla as well.
Yeah, about these boots, honestly, boots are in the best spot for mages that they've been in a long time. You can pick either boots and feel perfectly fine, depending on what you want. You have that free reign. 100 mana, 8 lifesteal. Really doesn't think the difference. It's a good fight coming out.
Tina back into the steam. And I don't know if Tina's going to get this dash off and back into
Big
the
Scylla Crush. We do see the trade 1-for-1. That does actually go in Incompetent Strategy's favor. Support for jungle.
Yeah, I think Incompetent Strategy's happy to get that right there, getting a kill onto your Thor. He's already got a lead now in the jungle and can really start pushing this mid game. Probably going to see a Crusher come out from him and look for the next Thor ult to probably push a Gold Fury.
We do see that Thana dropped to 0-2, a level down. Thana, obviously a very good early game jungler, but he transitions into late game a lot better than people give him credit for. The Execute, very strong tool for him in that late game.
Thanatos does have ult up here, and I want to look for them to maybe push and try to
Merlin
push for an early gold while the next Thor ult's down.
Merlin very aggressive on that. Ends up using the Aegis for the ult. Not super worried.
Big crush from Call Me Rich. This Tro's in trouble here.
He should die to this Thor ult. This Thor should go on the dive, yeah? Should be completely fine here.
Next row under the tower. Crimson fleeing for his life again, and AG Crusaders gets a trade. Bees expended on the Thor as
and then, just like that, we see Slate pick himself up 2 kills, end up killing the mid and the support, and even himself up. Golden XP very even right now. Which is actually surprising, seeing that the Valmont is 2 levels ahead of the Cerberus, which means that the rest of the team falling a little bit behind.
Yeah, a lot of Incompetence gold lead is over here in the solo lane.
We see that Xing Shen just getting a level behind, but he was 2. And then we see the Thor a little bit behind on the Thanatos now. And the Merlin a little bit ahead of the Scylla, even though we've seen the Merlin taking a little bit worse of the fights.
The blue buff invade from AG Crusaders is going to limit this Vamana a little bit. He's already running low on mana. He's going to have to back. And might be a little bit of a delay before we see him rotate.
We do see Xing Shen with the full gauntlet. Athena taking 3 spills already. Not quite there yet, but we should be seeing her get that online and stacking pretty soon. No relics really on the side of Incompetent Strategy. They have the beads on Hou Yi, but every other relic down.
Thor going in on the X-Ball there.
Meanwhile,
be a little bit of poke and get out.
AJ,
Letting you know, hey, I'm here.
AG Crusaders has 3 of the relics still up.
These mid laners are loving to fight right here, and they're gonna trade out.
Yeah, and
I think that kill actually went on the sleep, but mid for mid.
Yep. Very interesting brawl decision there.
Merlin and Scylla are going at it. 3 dots apiece. They're fighting. I like seeing that in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. I think
taking away the mid. Now he's rotating in. This is gonna looking like a Gold Fury attempt coming for Incompetent Strategy.
I think they could have had a little bit more communication there for the Merlin to play a little bit back. With the Xing Shen knowingly rotating in. Play a little bit safer there. Maybe have less kill potential, but a little bit safer. And have a little bit better chance with that Xing coming in.
Yeah, he saw that Aegis burned early on a crush, and he didn't have it for the I'm a Monster ultimate coming out Scylla, which was on the mark.
Yeah, he ended up using it last time on that I'm a Monster after he flickered in. Was unfortunate. Thor decided to
Thor and Thanatos going up. We got battle in the skies. X-Ball ult. Manages to hit it anyways. Thanatos gets picked up, but a really good Xing Chen ult that's going to throw 2 into
Big fight.
Breaker.
We do see the big baby just healing up the Cerberus with his ult.
2
X-Ball
for
looks
1
like
in favor of Incompetent Strategy there. You saw
Yeah.
Thor dunking right on top of the Thanatos through the X-Ball ult, and now that's going to lead to a Gold Fury attempt. But Cerberus is
Cerberus
here.
Merlin is on the way, so
Cerberus just moonwalking right into this Gold Fury.
yeah, he's honestly not that big of a risk, so they don't have quite the damage they need to put down the Cerberus well yet. Athena already ulted, so they actually can pull this Gold Fury themselves. If I was AJ Crusaders, I'd be pulling this. You just saw 4 people less than a quarter HP.
Yeah,
Athena all
huge
down.
damage from Merlin that took out pretty much all of Incompetent Strategy's health resources
Captain,
to try
definitely
to
good.
take this Gold Fury, and now they're going to be behind the 8-ball trying to defend.
AG Crusaders. That was a very good of Captain to just realize he's probably dead anyway, went a little deep. Make sure you don't bait back towards your team and give them good position on the Gold Fury. Who you should fall here. No ultimate to help save him, but there we go. A little bit closer than you would have liked. Beat's not necessarily
That's
who he's
ult
with.
coming out again. Scylla can't see. Tommy Rich desperately trying to find this kill. He does find the crush on the Filthy Yarn, but that was a solo. Little ADC dominance getting shown over there in the dual lane.
I don't think that's worse from him. He did end up expending both of his relics for that.
Yeah, B's Aegis now down on the X-Ball, and he also lost an ult there.
Yeah. He does have his ult up again next time. If that Ho Yi can hit a good knockup into the stun ult, that is going to be unfortunate for that X-Ball, and he probably will die.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at these damage numbers a little bit to see who's the problem right now. I feel like Merlin and Scylla are really doing a lot.
I feel like
in
they're
these
just
fights.
brawling. They are just running at each other and honestly just hitting anybody that walks in front of them. Yeah,
Yep,
we do see that.
that's-
We do see that Merlin at top damage, Scylla slightly behind, about 2k, and then we see a large drop of about 4k. And we kind of expect that in this solo lane, that we're not going to see a bunch of just fake solo laner damage, because they're not really looking to fight with that Vamana there.
Yeah, Merlin has finished an early Divine Ruin, and so that's going to put a lot into the Vamana ult and preventing Vamana from really just diving on the backline and staying alive forever, but still not enough. I would like to see some more anti-heal
Yeah, I would
coming
I
out
would
from
expect a
Merlin.
curse stalk. The
And as I
contagion,
say that, they finished Contagion and or
Yeah.
have a Contagion and a Brawlers as well.
and then I would expect to see a, I would expect to see a curse stalk, either coming out of the Cerberus or the Xing Shen. They will only have 1 blink though coming out of there probably, unless they just opt for no blinks, and then their engage is a little awkward. Without any blinks, they'd probably be forced to. Oh, and Scylla picks up the kill on Cerberus, and they take the Ho Yi in trade. Ho Yi beats down as well there.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Fire Giant
Yeah.
started up for Incompetent Strategy. I don't know if AG Crusaders knows this is going on. Sleet's coming over to check it.
Yeah, Xing Shen does have ult. He should
It's
just look
just
to
Xing Chen here.
He
Thor
should look
going
to
up
throw
in
them
the
on the
air.
fire line. He should be looking. He shouldn't be looking to steal. He should be looking to get them off of this. Getting them off of
does
this.
not find the Xing Chen. That's a huge whirlwind of raising steel from Xing Chen. And Strategy do pick up
He
the
needs to
Fire
fight them.
Giant,
Just
but
fight them
lose
here. If he
two
can
in the
stop their back
process.
and they can push left, like, yeah, and that should be a left Phoenix because that, yeah, that is not worth.
No, that was a very risky play. Birch gets picked up. He didn't even have the Fire Giant buff anyways. We only see that Fire Giant buff on the Vamana and the Athena, and they lose duo side Phoenix in the process, and that
Well, they
it's just
lost
not
the-
worth.
Not losing the Phoenix there alone, not super worth. But they lost the T1 and the T2 gold as well. That's a lot.
a lot of gold for AG Crusaders there. They've taken a 3K lead, and I don't know about that call. I like to see the aggressiveness, but they needed to either be able to burn it faster or keep that or try to keep that Xing Chen out of there. With no beads on Thor and Scylla, the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel just took them way too far down with all that Fire Giant aggro, and a hell of a job from Illicit Sleet getting something over there in that Fire Giant. 1v4 too.
We're going to see AG Crusaders. I keep saying J, but we're going to see AG Crusaders be the ones that are in the driver's seat now, looking to push this game.
Trouble here. He's going in. Defender of Olympus is in, but he's just not healing enough.
We saw the Cursed Dog popped. We see the Athena thrown back in. Athena put down here. We should see both these right towers disappear.
And there's no Fire Giant buff left on the map. That is both of the Mana and the Athena going down there.
Thor going in for some reason. Did not have
that
beats.
was a really aggressive play there. I think he just needed to give up that Ambledon and get out.
We do see how you push him left, but it looks like he's gonna back up.
This game is just completely turned into AG Crusaders game.
It was a pretty even game, and they were keeping it pretty even, but then that fire call just kind of.
This is Sunbreaker ultimate coming out from Puyi is going to push the whole team off of this Phoenix and might be able to save it.
I'm a fan of that ultimate because with that Thor coming back up and the Mana coming back up, Thor's gonna have his seeds really soon. So sieging in there's a little bit awkward, especially with both your tanks less than half of HP. Looks like they're not going to be able to push this T2 either. They're probably going to go back to this gold. But Incompetent Strategy could actually look to fight this.
It is a Primal Fury. If it was an Oni Fury, I think that needs a lot more attention, but looks like Incompetent Strategy is just going to give it up. I don't know if they know what's happening. It's already gone.
These Hunter builds, we do see they're building pretty similar. It's just the trans versus the Devos. But
I don't think they've punished X-Ball enough for not having any lifesteal in that build. Looks like he's going into an Aussie now, and does finish the Aussie, but just wasn't punished enough, wasn't poked out enough, and was able to win a couple fights.
We do see that Thanatos decided to go trans 4th item. A little interesting, but I think he can stack it, but it's gonna be a little awkward.
Trans is in a weird spot right now, I think, in the jungle. I didn't see it built at all in SPL the first week and a half so far.
I think it runs a little bit more now into not pub stomp, but a little bit less, more of a loose item, a snowbally kind of item, than a standard pick. Because not having that 10% CDR off the bat does hurt it a little bit, especially in the jungle where you're not getting that stack super quick.
Yeah, it actually really stalls out the mid game for junglers because you're sitting there trying to get it stacked. You don't have the CDR, you don't have the power off of it yet, so it kind of makes you, it turns you into a farming machine when, for a lot of junglers, that's when you want to be fighting more.
Speaking of CDR, this Thor has none at the moment. This Thor just has his Brawlers, his Boots, his half-stack Trand, and T2 Titans. We have yet to see any cooldown come out of him, but with that really hurts with that Thor there. His ult sitting, he's got 3 points in it since he's only level 16. He won't get that 4th point until level 17. But no cooldown. That ends up just keeping us all on a long cooldown.
Next Fire Giant coming up. And AG Crusaders is getting in a position to defend this. Kagran is looking to zone out anybody they can, get some beads so that by the time they get to Fire Giant Pit, they got a Xing Chen ult waiting for them. It's already down. It's already gone. Uncontested free Fire Giant.
We did see supports in pretty similar builds. We did see the Athena Russia Pestilence, which is a little interesting. Not quite sure why she did that, but we do see her going to the typical Salve afterwards, so.
I would like
Wow.
to see this fight taking place at left side Phoenix, but they've already gotten a pick.
Thanatos in the air. They did have the Hou-Yi, they did have the X-Ball, so they had no idea that Thanatos was in the sky.
Good
X-Ball
aid from Call Me Rich to live, and a huge Alma Monster picks up one to damage on a couple others.
I don't know if they get this Phoenix. Actually, they have good zoning now. They should be able to clean up this right Phoenix.
Yeah, Xingqiang and Kerber still pretty healthy for this. X-Ball is gonna. They do have the Fire Giant regen.
I think that they should just back up to Pyro. Sieging mid Phoenix is really greedy here.
It looks like they're gonna go left side. I would like to see them back. They have plenty of time left on Fire Giant. I would like to see them get healthy enough for this next siege. And they don't have minions pushing into the right Phoenix that they just took quite yet. So you could heal up, get some more items, and wait for somebody to have to split off to that right side.
Because you see that fire wave on that back right side. It's still got about a minute before it's going to be pushing on that Phoenix. And pushing into that
They're not going to slow play this at all. No minions, nothing. They're going right in.
It is weakened, but
popped.
Okay, that still all did not connect. You see the hammer, the Thor going in, gets good damage off. The Merlin falling low.
There. Goose just running down Shro all the way past it.
Cerbal gets to the mana. We should see the Vamana. No, the Vamana's out. Serb jumping in.
There.
Thor hammered in.
A little bit of a turn. Thanatos on the backside from Red Buff is going to find Thor.
Should be able to find the Hou-Yi, yes. He will find that, and they should be able to collapse on the Scylla, maybe.
Slate Biscuit turning that fight, and oh my goodness, a point-blank scythe to the face is going to be a triple kill from Slate Biscuit.
Yeah, but we do see the Athena and the Vamana still up. They can't push this in. They just lost 3 members with fire, and then the Thanatos never had it, so...
3 for 3. I think if Slate Biscuit doesn't make the play that he did there, that was a very, very good fight from Incompetent Strategy. They were able to push everybody out, and it was really looking in their favor.
That fight, honestly, still is in their favor. The fact that they stalled that out, got fire off everybody, they wasted a bunch of time. That right Phoenix, already back up to half. It'll be back up in a little over a minute, so...
Yeah, I would have... I think that initial Phoenix siege, I think they just forced the issue over on that Fire Giant side Phoenix. They already had the left Phoenix was already damaged, and that's the one that you want. Force them to have to defend that left side Phoenix so that you guys can go focus on fire. Instead, they take the right side Phoenix, aren't able to get left, and now I think Incompetent Strategies coming back into this game a little bit. They're going to be able to defend that lane and the next Fire Giant. So I think that was a good way of holding on for them.
They took the one fight and they won it, but then they tried to take a full second fight without that reset, and they're ahead, but they're not 20k gold ahead. They were 9k ahead and 4 members with 5. Just a little bit of zealousness, but we can see that pull back, and they do resecure the Gold Fury.
They're very much still in control of this game, but there is a little bit of a window open for that.
Not quite sure what that Thor did there, but they did have the 2v1, but they did lose it to the X-Ball.
Looks like X-Ball just stole it, and I don't see any damage on the Hou-Yi. It doesn't... The Old Sworn expended other than X-Ball.
X-Ball
just looking for a pick, but Rising Bird is
that X-Ball missed just a couple autos, and it ended up being the difference. Hou-Yi focused in, made sure he hit his shots, and he gets the solo kill.
Yeah, a couple good picks for AG Crusaders. It would have been a little even better to see if the X-Ball had been able to live, but they get a couple picks before this next fire.
Yeah. If that X-Ball had ended up getting the solo kill instead, I think you see a lot better spot right here.
And they're starting it back up. No Hunter on this. They do have the Merlin for Shred, but I think
they don't have any
security to push in here if they're able to get past this Kerberos.
And
they've dropped it.
Yeah, definitely a good call to drop it. We got Cerberus was having to overzone to account for the time that he needed.
Thanatos on the back line. Nobody peeling the Thanatos off. Birch screaming.
Merlin
for
pulled the
help.
fire. Merlin's dead. He pulled the fire giant. You should get all the Athena reach, just not enough to. That Merlin did his stance switch out in his ult, and then ended up pulling the fire giant. Almost ended up being a disaster for him.
Crashing down.
And I would hope. I'm glad
Yeah,
that
Thor-
he turned away. Just a satellite ult there a little bit. I was hoping he wasn't going to die for that Merlin.
He should have held that 3. Yeah.
Kerber's ult gets Thor beat. They're looking for this tower, but here on the backside, we got Thanatos and Chen coming back into this fight, and
Should
Thor's
see
got to
the
get
Thor
out
put
now,
down.
and he can't. He can't get away
Cerberus
from that
very
Thanatos
low.
side.
We should see the Athena put down. Thanatos on the back winning this. I think he wins 1v1 because he still has his scythe up, I believe.
So
No, he
pulled down
misses
a little
it.
bit, but Vamhana is back into this. I don't know if they'll be able to find that Thanatos, and they're
Thanatos
not with
blinking
the blink.
out. So we saw the Thor misplay that a little bit. In that situation, you know that the Cerberus ult is up. You should just hold your 3 until he starts his ult, and then you 3 the ult. But unfortunately, he didn't do that, and he had to use his beats there, and still ends up falling for that.
Yeah, that was a really weird segment there. Some really disjointed fights, and it's gonna end up with Crusaders grabbing this next fire giant uncontested. That's how fast Merlin and X-Ball can shred that fire giant. The Incompetent Strategy didn't even have a chance to defend. Thor working on that Heartseeker. I would like to see him get a big pick. It's okay if he dies for it. If he's able to take out an X-Ball or a Merlin, that's worth.
I'd like the Thor to get some cooldown. Still has...
Yeah, 3 more stacks before he gets 10%.
Yeah. I'd like to see a Mantle probably come out in that last slot. I think Mantle would be helping him a lot.
Yeah, you see that's what the Thanatos has elected to go into with his last item, and
Yeah.
there's another mantle on that side from... There's actually 3 mantles on the side of Crusaders.
For Mana, not very good at initiating. Good at chasing, but not great at initiating. Athena, no blink. All she has is dash taunt. That Thor is kind of what they need to initiate some fights and push past the front line.
Yeah, they're gonna siege this left Phoenix here. Kerberos jumps in, is gonna
Mana just...
pay for it with his life. Phoenix still alive. Sunbreaker ultimate comes out trying to zone. Sleet
Sing
does
Shen
use the
picks
ult
up-
to pick up the Thor. They are going to get that Phoenix, and this
How you should be put
could
down.
be game right here.
It's a very awkward spot. That's how you putting out a lot of damage. You should have sleep back up in a couple seconds. Still, big I'm a monster.
Call me Rich. Getting the X ball. That's gonna. It
They
may be
cannot
able to
end it.
save this Titan for now.
They could not aim. There's no aim shot.
Crush is just a little out of range. Would have picked up the Thanatos, which I think Call Me Rich would like to see. Slate Biscuit is doing a hell of a job on the Thanatos right now.
Yeah.
Just really focusing out a lot of these.
And you have to keep in mind, he started off this game 0-2-2, so coming back to the 10-4-6, it's been putting in a lot of work since then. Primal Fury, not quite the Fury you're hoping for here. Usually you'd be hoping for like an Oni Fury at some point, and it does look like the Oni Fury will be the next one.
Yeah, we saw last time with one Primal Fury buff, a Merlin and an X-Ball, they already take down that Fire Giant fast enough, and it's going to go down even faster now, but I think they would much rather prefer the Oni Fury to kind of force their hand in one of these lanes and split up a bit of the Incompetent Strategy so they could go for a bit.
Yeah, because if this Fire Giant fight doesn't go immediately and Fire picked up immediately, you can use that Oni Fury to push out some waves and get some advantage there, or you can use it after getting a fire, about 2 minutes after the fire goes down, to actually push out and have an advantage with fire Oni waves coming out that left side if you can get that Phoenix back down. AG Crusaders definitely in control still, but Incompetent Strategy definitely not out of it yet. They've had some pretty good defenses yet, especially with the Scylla.
I think what strategy need to do if they do get into another good opportunity for an all-in team fight is they need to all in on the back line. They need to have Famana ult, they need to have a Thor ult on top of that, and try to split this team fight up, and need to also protect their Hui and their Scylla at the same time, because Thanatos is going to backline. So I'd like to see them try to execute more of this heavy dive comp that they have.
Yeah,
But I don't know if they'll get in position for that just
this
yet.
Thanatos having the mantle though, not the easiest to pick. We also don't see much anti-heal coming out. We see the Pestilence, and then we see the Brawlers. That's really all that they have, which is a decent amount, but applying the Thor's not usually going to be in a position to apply that on the Thanatos. Zing Channel does not connect with anybody.
Yeah, no relics burned on the counter strategy. That's a win for them.
Just a little bit of indecision there. You have to pick a target to go in there, but he ended up just trying to get too many people that didn't pan out.
Slave Biscuit cheekily comes through the Phoenix. I think
Still all
got away with
50
one
damage. Still getting very
Kagran's
good jump.
able to get out just in time, and Maelstrom goes up in the air, but he's not going to be able to find anyone.
Yeah, they're gonna have to reset here. They're defending this left, but there are minions on their Titan, and they should be looking to defend this left Phoenix, which is spawning just here in a little while.
Yeah, they do have a Pestilence and a Contagion, but I think they need more anti-heal. I would like to see Scylla pick up a Divine.
Well, those two don't stack, so
Right. But I
that's
mean, you have Kerber's
Yeah.
healing, you have Thanatos healing, you have a Soul Gem from the Merlin, you have Xing Chen's passive, and an Asi from X-Ball. So, I mean, all 5 of these players have some form of healing.
and that's their enhanced fire giant.
And the Fire Giant buff.
I do expect
They
some fights to
should
be
go
breaking
left
out here soon.
They really should go left here, I think.
I think
Maybe
Thanatos should split
split.
left by himself. I think they 4-man in mid, and then Thanatos split in left. Because Thanatos has the semi-global to match with the Thor. Zing Chen putting way too aggressive here, but they should be able to get this pick.
Guy, he did get the Banana. He's going to have to go into Colossal Fury. He does get out, but big ult expended. It's not going to
So
be
takes him to the
chasing
Phoenix
down.
shot. Still a big I'm a monster, but the Thanatos coming up huge and getting the Hui and the Scylla pick on his own.
This is a really good fight though right now. Thanatos and X-Ball are up.
Look at that left Phoenix. You're going to be taken back down by minions again. Oh, we see the Athena
I think
actually
they
over there.
Yeah, Athena went to defend the Phoenix, but you got
They cannot end here. There's no way to end here.
Good. Aegis does take out the X-Ball. Maybe saves Titan. Yeah,
Very good double tap.
That should be Slave Biscuit's life. And it's TSI.
Unfortunately, though, that Titan very low, and they lost both of their Phoenixes there.
Yeah,
That
I don't think the AG Crusaders, although getting DS'd as they're still in control. I think that's okay.
Yeah,
if we go for
'cause-
Titan.
Because they're definitely going to be the Merlin, Cerberus, and Zing Shen are coming up like in 5 seconds. We will see Incompetent Strategy pick up this T1 mid, but I expect to see Crusaders be able to get this Oni Fury. And this Oni Fury will
That's
basically
gonna hurt.
spell the end. I
Yeah,
feel
this next they're gonna get Oni Fury. They should wait out the waves, let the waves push up, and then just go all in on the Titan. They could honestly go in all in on the Titan now, but this Oni Fury is just gonna be even more oppressive.
Yeah, I would say just waiting for those waves would be really good for them. Yeah, we do see the Zing Shen, a pretty standard build. Decides to swap out his boots for Soul Reaper.
You know, he's doing his part. I think that Phyllis is Sleet with 7 kills and the zoning that he's done and been able to get relics. But he's still down there on the bottom of the player damage. Maybe he knows that, and you know, Alyssa Sleet says, "Hey guys, I want to get on some of this fun too. Give me that Soul Reaper."
I personally would have liked to see a Relic Dagger for a little bit more CDR, and then more Cursed Donks and Shells. We see a Thor in the air looking for the X-Ball.
Thor does get the Merlin, who's beats are still down for another 20 seconds. This could be a really good pick
They're
here.
chasing him.
This is good for Incompetent Strategy. This is a
Well,
good
wait,
fight for them
Thanatos,
right
good
here.
ult. Thanatos, that's the
Romana's
shell.
gonna die. Thanatos hunting out Thor. I don't know.
The mantle.
Maelstrom does pick it
Oh,
up.
but split fight. The X-Ball should be able to pick up the Thor. The Thor ages. That's a pick.
Huge crush from Call Me Rich. Big on the
Huge on-
monster picks up one. And they're gonna hold the base right now.
Well, wait. You see the only way pushing that right Phoenix.
They
And
do lose it.
unfortunately-
It does get taken.
Unfortunately, that right Phoenix, which means even when these left Phoenix and mid Phoenix come up in a little over a minute, in about a minute, the Titan's still not going to heal over the 2,500 HP it's stuck to right now.
Yeah, they couldn't catch a break there. I think that was the right idea. They got a good fight. They got
They had to take a
couple
fight
people
off the
picked
Titan.
out outside of the Titan room, which is actually where I think that fight needed to happen. But
And
they-
they're struck.
you can't
They're,
have it all.
are Winions going to win? Are Winions going to win?
Oh boy,
Oh, 584 HP on the
Titan
Titan.
hanging on by a thread.
Wait, the right wave, the right wave. Let's look at this. No Winions. Oh, they're saying no Winions today.
The Titan battered and bloodied, but still hanging on, beating his chest over there. And I think if
I mean,
Crusaders just
if-
go all in on the Titan, he dies.
Yeah, if I'm Crusaders, I'm literally just sitting my Zing Shen to blink past and just ult the Titan.
Yeah, just run at the Titan. Look, I mean, if you're looking at the mini map,
You literally
It's
just
dead.
you literally just split, put a tank with each carry, and then just Thanatos ult across from like that little speed corridor.
middle Phoenix is back up. Left Phoenix
You
is
just-
set to
yeah.
come back up.
I think that would be what you do is you just send one tank. Yep.
Here he goes. Thanatos going for the Titan. Slate Biscuit going for the win. Gonna dunk on him. Got thrown back a little bit.
He misplayed that.
He gets
You-
picked up by the Vamana.
He
Titan's
should've.
still breathing.
He should have stunned the Scylla and then won the Titan.
Sleep is gonna fall too. X-Ball going in on the Titan now. They gotta hold it. This has been a hell of a defense.
Oh, the branching
Isn't
bola.
enough.
That was a very
Oh.
good defense attempt. Oh,
That
if
would
the
have been crazy if they had been able to hold off. It just wasn't
that
the cards.
Cerberus 1 HP.
Too much chaos. Like, they pick up the Thanatos. Okay, gotta reset. Who's coming in next?
Yeah, that Thanatos should have looked for the ult onto the Scylla. That would have probably made it go a little bit better for him. Because
Yeah.
you could tell the Scylla was just raring to go and set up on him.
A 39.5-minute game there.
Because if he ults the Scylla there, stuns, and then the Scylla beats the stun to try to do damage, Thanatos can attack the Titan. If he doesn't kill it in that time frame, which he probably should because he has a clean line to Titan with the Scythe, his mantle stun will he'll block out Scylla after she does damage to make sure that he can finish it off.
Yeah, we lost our lobby game, our lobby screen, but I really liked the Scylla from Call Me Rich. He went 12-6, was doing huge damage. That was a really fun game to watch for the mid lane laning phase. That
Yeah.
was Shro and Call Me Rich just duking it out. Put the gloves on, let's go. No passive farming. It's time to fight.
Yeah, it's time. We saw them trade to each other. The Zing Shen cleans it up a little bit at the end, but we saw them duke it out to the bottoms of their HP. I'm good.
Sure. We'll take a short break and get back to you with game 2 in a couple minutes.
Yep.
Give me 1 second.
All right. And after that exciting game one, me and Rick are back and ready to spectate this game two. And momentarily, we'll get into those picks and bans, give those to you, and then see who comes out on top, see if it's a quick 2-0 or if we're going to a game three.
Yeah, I do love seeing a set that I don't know anything about, and I'm curious to see how the first game really affects the draft for the second game, and if anything after that. I love seeing how that develops throughout a whole set. So see if any targeted bans come out here. Yeah, it looks like they had a remake, so I'm not sure what the bans are.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just
Okay,
gonna
so it
assume
looks
there
like
was.
the bans coming out from Incompetent were Thor, Humbots, and Persephone, and Crusaders banned Yamoja, Merlin, and Cuckoos. They actually banned the Merlin this time.
So Camazotz was not banned?
Camazotz was not banned.
Huh. And he's not picked yet. That's dumb. Well, yeah, no, I've had to do.
Well, yeah, they restarted with blind pick, but Camazotz was not banned.
Yeah.
Second phase bans, Crusaders going to ban a Wheelish and Poseidon.
I see. Yeah, okay.
So
they
did
banned
not
Loki.
want to deal with a horse knockup.
And
Sorry,
Camazotz.
these are flipped now. So they didn't want to. I'm not sure why they banned the Poseidon in the Wheelish. There's no knockups there. So
Camazotz 7th pick, huh?
And Kumba and Geb were banned out by Incompetent Strategy as well. So those are good bans. I don't think it's totally incompetent. But Odin makes it through.
So did Kama.
Odin
What
and
kind of
Camazotz.
what kind of upside down world are we living in that you're happy with that? If Camazotz is your 7th pick and Odin's your 9th?
I think that might have been thrown off by the remake. I do think those were probably first picked.
I mean, they first picked the X-Ball, which makes sense, and then there was the maybe, but
well, I think it just lined up in the blind pick. It actually doesn't show us who gets picked first. Unfortunate, but Smite's been kind of funky with all the COVID and everybody staying home. Servers have been off, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh yeah, it's a lot going on, so hope that's clearing up a little bit soon. Hopefully it stays clear. It's a little bit of advertising. Triple Worship Weekend. Everybody go party up, go pub stomp some games, get some worshippers, go get your next god diamond.
Working on a few myself. I'm guessing that Kepri got picked early in the draft, and Crusader said, "Okay, you're picking Kepri. We'll just play the Thanatos again."
Yeah, I think Slate was happy though to run that back. Pretty good game. A little bit of a rough start early game, but brought it back and did very well in that mid and late game, and honestly did a lot of carrying for his team.
I do like the Pele pick though from Maelstrom. I want to see him run this game. I want to see him have a little more impact than he did with the Thor, and try to dive. Probably onto the Scylla would be the best bet. Scylla and Thanatos he's got a decent battle with. It's gonna be really hard for him to try to gank and catch up with this Hachi.
I mean,
I do see an invade coming out.
That was a late hog.
Really late hog. Not sure what that was about, but they did get the speed buff. They did secure it.
Yeah, but we do see the Camazotz. I would like to see the Thanatos skip that blue and run straight and two-man that blue.
I see in chat they had to remake because of a banned skin.
Way to go, guys.
Sleet, I hate you for this, but this is really, really good for your team. But I hate you for it.
Can't wait till there's an Invader's Curse.
Yeah, we contested red buff. Shro in trouble here.
He should be
Is he
put
gonna
down.
find it? Call me Rich picking up first blood in the mid.
And
It's not.
This is why we see the Raijin. I have been asking for Raijin all day, and we finally get some. The god is so good that people just do not give him credit.
I know that Shro plays a very aggressive mid game, but I think that he needs to start respecting Call Me Rich because he went for a red invade there. Didn't work.
Solo invading as a Scylla level 2.
That's what Shro does, but I think he's got to respect his opponent a little bit.
Scylla's definitely one of the worst gods to level 2 invade with. Her damage on buffs is bad, and either you have your root for a little bit more damage to kill the big creep, and you don't have an escape, or you have your escape and you have one damaging ability.
We see Crimson Fire rotating in over here, trying to relieve some of this pressure. Filthy Yarn being a bit of a bully early game on with Birch again.
Birch staying a little bit too close to the wave. Definitely should be avoiding that banner. But with that solo kill, we do see Birch probably should be a little bit ahead in XP, but then we do see him at XP pretty similar actually with the XP per minute, but the gold should be significantly different. Should be seeing about a 500 gold lead there.
Yeah, I think that Rich is going to rush this Chronos Pendant, and we see a two-man rotation onto the Kepri. Leave the Hug Bug alone.
Should be good to get out of danger and scurry on back to his red buff that probably won't be invaded again this time. I think that Shro will think twice about coming to this red buff.
Yeah, and for those who know me, I am a jungle main and sometimes an ADC main, but I've actually been really having a lot of fun playing Kepri lately. I think he's really strong right now. Very satisfying god to play. Kind of sucks that there's a Thanatos on the other side they're going for this blue invade right now. They're looking to starve this Odin and
honestly
get Camazotz ahead.
It's annoying, but it's not this X-Ball should be put down. Yep.
Filthy Yarn, as soon as he got ult, he wanted it.
But Kepri Thana, not a great matchup for Kepri, but honestly, if you can hold that until Thanatos ults, or if Thanatos is going on a different target, like, you can honestly be fine there. Like, it's still, yeah, it executes, and that's not a great mechanic for the Kepri ult, but you can play around it, and you can kind of counterplay with that in mind. Because Kepri still has a really strong kit with the pull, which is a silence, displacement. He has the 2, which can give you protections, and then it also gives you mitigation, and then gives increased damage to your enemies, and then you're also getting the root, which is really potent.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was picked in the draft, but I do like it into the rest of this comp. I mean, you're going to be able to hopefully save somebody from getting locked down by Horus and just nuked by the Scylla or Camazotz diving on your back line. So to be able to fend that off a little bit. The Thanatos is an end game for that.
The shell a little awkward because the Kepri still a good strong relic obviously, but I personally would have loved to see Kepri with the blink. They were looking to play aggressive early anyway. Look at this early game. Pele, Raijin, Kepri. That is an aggressive early game. But across the way, they do have an aggressive early game with the Thanatos Force and a little bit of the Scylla.
And
but
even with that first blood, we do see a small gold lead from AG Crusaders, but pretty even game. They are going to pick up Oracles here.
Which is interesting
Scylla's
to
actually
see.
ahead.
Yeah, and then we do see that this Odin is a little bit ahead in XP too, and a little bit on the totem as well. But I think it's also because we really don't know why, because
we could have a fight here. Off of that blue rotation, Thanatos does get another blue invade, so Odin's kind of hating this right now.
Crimson is behind, so he really isn't splitting waves like London is.
it's interesting that they put this Odin into the solo lane because we've seen him more played in support and jungle than anywhere else.
Yeah. Solo's definitely, I don't like it. I think Solo's my least favorite role for him to be played in. At least for my preference. Because the reason that I'm picking Odin is early impact of the cage when there's a lack of Phantom or just looking for early jungle fights. Because most of your early fights are jungle fights. Looking around early objectives, looking to fight in the jungle, somebody rotating.
Good abduct from Kepri there. Calling Rich put sleep.
Odin's gonna lock
Thanatos both under tower. He's not gonna get it.
Very bad Odin play there. He should have ulted immediately when the Thanatos ulted on him.
There it is on the Chasmataz, as we like to call it around here. But you know, he's just gonna leap away. Yeah, I would have liked to see that cage on the Thanatos. That would have been a cheeky exchange.
Very sloppy kill that was dropped. He should die. He got
out.
He's
on the dot.
Because if you can see that X-Ball almost got soloed again. Very low HP and unfortunate situation. It would have been a trade 1-for-1 with that rotation coming across, but it ends up being a 1-for-0 with not that pick.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Hachi using his ult aggressively. You use it down lane, and that's a long run back when you got a Pele on the map.
That pick would have been so good for Odin. Make sure to keep Slate. I know Slate came back into that last game after being down a little bit early, but never going to complain about putting a Thanatos down early, probably getting picked.
Oh yeah, it would have been nice to see, but you know, a little unfortunate. He's going to go for this third blue in a row, and somebody's got to help out Odin because he's ahead of this Camazotz, and he's been doing it without 3 blue buffs.
Yeah. And it's because we see that rush of the Contagion. That Contagion it's still in that breastplate tree. You're still going to get that mana. That MP5 is there.
Yeah, I do like that build pathing. You know, don't need the boots right now. If I don't stop some of this healing from Camazotz, I'm not going to have a chance.
I'm glad that he's not going to the Glad Shield. Glad Shield on Odin really just you're neutering yourself. You're not really looking to do it. There's a couple of different gods in solo that you don't want to go Glad Shield on for different reasons. Like Odin's one of those gods because it's just looking to rush his cooldown and just in this case Contagion perfectly fine. But Tyr's the biggest mistake that I see Glad Shield on. I do not like Glad Shield on Tyr at all. Just rush your cooldown. You're already healing a bunch. They're going to build anti-heal. Just rush your breastplate. We do see the soul laner, Kima.
This Goldie's staying consistent.
Camazotz could fall here.
Trouble here. He's going to leap out and does get the ult out.
The Raijin tried to jump in place to mez him before he got the ult off, but unfortunately that kind of cancels his chance to chase.
Yeah, Kagran using Bat Out of Hell to get out safely there. Almost did get caught out. You know, on those back harpies had to expend ult, but could have been punished for it a little worse.
Dead even game. These teams are about 100 gold apart. We're not seeing any major XP leads. A little bit in the duo lane. We see that Hachi a level ahead, but I imagine that's probably about half a level, 3/4 level.
Yeah, neither team has really looked at this Gold Fury yet. There's no real posturing up. We do have a little bit, you know, brawling still going on in solo lane. A lead for Filtyarn in ADC, and Shro has just been power farming and able to stay ahead despite giving up first blood and 2 kills onto the Raijin. So he's done a good job of mitigating that loss there.
Kepri
getting caught out, and Scarab's blessing onto himself. I'm a monster expended for a few creeps.
That's a very worth trade for them. That Kepri does have cooldown boots, which will take 11 seconds off his ult because it's a 110 base. But then we have to look at the Scylla. Scylla's a 90-second, and she already has 30% CDR.
Pele getting aggressive, but hovering death is going to find the Pele Slate Biscuit, picks up the kill, and now Kami Rich is going to have to get out. He still has Taiko drums, maybe for a gold defense if they choose to go this way, though. A lot of ults expended. You know, we saw everything but gets expended in mid for that.
Yeah. And we are going to see them pick up the gold here, I think.
There's Tycho drums coming out, and Crusaders secures, but that was dangerously close. Unfortunate for Call Me Rich. I thought that was a really good play to get in there and ult when he did. Just didn't get that last proc. The last hit proc.
I would have liked to see that Hachi actually chase that down. I know they don't know where the Pele is. It's a little bit risky, but...
Odin's stun is good. He's going to leap in. Just not enough damage.
They should get this T1 in mid.
Almost killed the Scylla, but isn't able to extinguish her life. I did like that dive.
Yeah, Pele needs to back up.
T1.
Kepri should not have plugged in.
Yeah, Kepri could be in trouble here.
I don't know why he's passing that way.
Camazot's zoning everybody out in mid, and yeah, he's going real deep in here, and I don't know. I think he's dead anyways. I think that's a waste of an ult.
I think that's where we're seeing the biggest disparity and issue right now is in that dual lane, because we see that we actually see Philman actually hit level 13, and meanwhile we still see the Expo at level 11. That's not good. They lost 2 people there in that fight. They lose the Pyro. They lose 2-1. I think it's
Crusaders. Oh, Horus going to the skies. They're gonna look for.
Should get the Odin
here. They're gonna pick up the kill on Goose.
Solo
but
for
Rich
solo.
was able to get a kill on the Chasmataz.
But we do see that Hachi hit level 14. That is a scary Hachi, and he has not backed in a long time. I imagine he's not full Lexi at this point. Kepler, you can't dash in again. Just a couple really careless plays there in Plux. We saw him 0-0.
They did not have the numbers to really fight there in mid, and that's one thing about Abduct is it's just like Athena taunt. You're putting yourself in harm's way. And if you don't have follow-up, it's not going to feel good. So Kepri, I would like to see him, ease off a bit, not be so aggressive in these fights.
And I think that's why you see Sobek doing so well right now, is that he, out of the gods who displace themselves to pluck in and grab somebody, he has the best safety. He has a cease team in ult where you can still move. He has his 2. He has healing. Which I'm surprised we haven't seen any Sobek today.
No Sobek bans, no Sobek picks.
There was one Sobek. There was one Sobek ban in the set earlier. I think there might have been.
He's insanely strong.
Oh yeah.
So I think Sobek is
his
one of the top
potential,
3, if not the best solo laner right now.
His best potential definitely comes out of the fact that he has massive flex potential.
Yeah.
Because you've seen supports like Trix. Trix loves Sobek. But then you also see soul laners that'll pull it out and just dominate with it. And we do see a 2-level disparity between these ADCs.
Yeah, that's a 3K gold lead from AG Crusaders. This is exactly what they did last game. They took control of the mid game. They got a couple of objectives back to back and really pushed a lead. So if Incompetent Strategy isn't able to win a couple fights here, it could end up being a long, drawn-out game like the last one.
Yeah, but we do see Rich. Rich, among all this, 3-0-1. Definitely still putting in work.
Yeah, Rich has been popping off. I think he looks like one of the stronger players, if not the strongest on Incompetent Strategy.
Pele should have all as soon as that blink went on. Do not pluck in on this Kepri, please.
I think he's learned his lesson for now. To the skies, lands in Odin cage.
Still all?
I don't think he cares. And they've got plenty of sustain. They're 5-man death ball and covering death. Thanatos going in deep onto the Kepri. Does pick it up, but gets stunned by Odin under the T2, and Call Me Rich picks up his 4th kill.
The Kepri was a little late. Oh, the Archer hit.
Oh no.
Well, no. If Crimson actually gets his ult off there, he lives there, and they get the Thanatos for free. But he was a little bit delayed on that ult. I guess he wanted to hold it. He definitely has. I made sure.
The only fury that they are posturing up for is about to drop onto the map, and Goose holding his own with Kagrin a little bit. Odin doing a good bit of poke on Camazotz. Rich going into Tycho Drums is going to pick up the other one. Shro on the backside, I believe, picked up
A little bit of damage on Hachi. You see Odin all going to come back up in like less than 20 seconds. They could be looking to fight here in Competent Strategy. Still alt miss, she has no mana.
Let's have looking at Lightning.
We see them actually looking to fight. Raijin has no mana, that's unfortunate. But
Shro goes down. Philitiarn dashes in, does pick up the kill on Pele, has mounted archery, but Pink Sprong's off a couple of walls.
that was actually
Still
Richie
looking to
went
find
down
this
there.
Pele. Scarab's Blessing is going to draw her out, and now the Odin Cage Ring of Spears is up. This is a good turn. Really good Capriol. Pele going to life steal a little bit.
But we
She's
see the
helping
X-Box
Pink
coming to
and
clean
Pink.
this up.
That is the fight that they needed. They're going to get a free Gold Fury off of this. That's 4 kills. Really
Yeah.
a Team Deicide because Camazotz went down earlier in that fight.
It actually wasn't the Pele that they got. They got Rich. It was the Pele that they wanted, but a little bit of overcommit, and they get picked up. That X-Box comes in, cleans up the last 2 kills.
3K gold lead is gone. Incompetent Strategy right back in this game. Huge team fight for them. Loved what I saw from everybody there. The Scarab's Blessing going on to Pele, giving her second life, and they grouped up really well. I think that I don't think that Crusaders really recognized that that was a losing fight for them because they went all in hard, and it wasn't really a close fight.
Yeah, and we just saw Biscuit fall 2 levels behind off that fight. And then we
now
see the
5-1.
he
a
put off
ton of damage.
so much damage to everybody in the fight. I think if he has mana there, he actually lives because he didn't have enough mana for his 3 or anything.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna pull Pyro, but kind of holding off on it for now.
They see this Camazotz on the bottom right, and they're really worried about him posturing
Yeah,
it
they
below
are
them.
gonna pick it back up. It looks like the Tycho Drums is gonna be used to secure the
Big
Pyro
damage on the
Master.
Scylla.
Now they're gonna try to get out.
Turn on the Kama.
Ult expended there, and it is getting a little bit of a disjointed team fight. Stun is good from Odin. Root down, and he's gonna have the bat out of hell to get out of there. Kepri could be in
has
trouble.
ult.
We see Ring of Spears though, and bat out of hell landed right in there. Good patience
Massive
on the
root.
Odin.
You see Hachi this entire time, getting that to push off on that left side. They get that T2 for free. That
Yeah, that
definitely goes the way of Crusaders.
Yeah,
2
it was
for 1
2 for
and a
1
T2.
in a 4v5. Big win from Crusaders there in that fight.
Yeah, we
And
still
now
has
they've
Hachi.
taken a 3K gold lead, and Hachi's pushing Phoenix. He's not going to be able to take it.
Nobody's gonna be able to
Rising
gank
Birch is
for
back
this.
in and not afraid to fight. I've liked to see, or I've liked seeing that Rising Birch will take the fight with this.
Oh, if he had hit that
Hachi, man, even though
too.
he's behind.
They don't kill this Hachi because this Hachi still has ult, but... this Hachi's playing really aggressive on
Get
it.
expended. There's. He ended early. Aegis
Interesting
still
beats.
and yeah,
Wrong-
right.
yeah,
Held
but
Aegis
wrong-
there. He might have held it because he would have died anyways.
I think that he wanted to press the Aegis there instead, which I think... All in all, I don't think you use any relics there. You're just in a bad spot.
He did lose his beads, but held on to Aegis. But I mean, Rich picks up a kill on a Hachiman that had ult.
Yeah. And we get to see the Kepri that took 30 years to clear a red buff. Feels bad to be a support. We actually need to... Everybody's about even on XP playing now.
Yeah, we do see the Soul Eater coming out from Pele. I want to take another look at builds here. Man, I love the CAD shield pickup on Camazotz. Not
Yeah.
so sure about the Inaugural. The Ankile does work. It does silence Raijin out of his one. If you're
Yeah.
managing your Ankile procs.
I'm not a huge
really
fan
well,
of it though,
can be good.
because he puts the 2 in you, and then if he hits you with the 1, he's gonna hit 1 hit of his 1 out, and he's gonna get the 2 anyway. Like he's already casted his kit on you.
Yeah, it just doesn't get those last two bursts. But I do see the mentality there. Slate Biscuit looking to come in around the
one
side,
thing
but Rich might have snuffed them out.
The one thing you're really looking at for it, Kepri plucks. If that Kepri plucks in, instantly cancels it.
Crusaders baiting this fire, but Incompetent Strategy is in the neighborhood.
They're trying to put the
They don't know.
Camazotz down.
It looks
Yeah.
like they were going on Camazotz, but they're... Guys, Fire Giant's happening. Somebody stop the Fire Giant.
Oh!
Crusaders gonna pick it
No,
up.
this is fine. They can pick this. They can pick the Camazotz here as well. This is actually a decent fight. The horse still all over the wall.
Skies comes in. It looked like
Still didn't hit anybody.
Mark II, so a lot of ults expended by AG Crusaders here.
They can keep pushing right.
Nobody's been punished just yet.
I mean, they am getting sniped, and they can push this right tower. I think they should be fine to push this.
They do have a 4v3 right now. Camazotz does have the back.
We
It's
do
gonna be a
see behind.
5v3. Here comes Rich from behind. Looking for him to put up some big damage. Pele is
Camazotz
able
still
to
in
pick
a
up
wall.
a kill onto the Scylla, and it's still
Minions pushing in. They can win this
still
fight.
a 4v3 right here.
We see the branching bullet get the kill off the back to tower. We see the Camazotz about to be put down. No ultimate to speak of.
Yeah, he does
Kept her
not have
plugged in.
ultimate. Yeah, so he should fall here, and they're going to take this tower, take those lives.
Thanatos is all. They take
Crusaders.
this right to Phoenix. They take this right to Phoenix 100%. 30 seconds on the next member
Yep, this should
for
definitely
AG Crusaders. Thanatos in the air. It doesn't
Brain
matter.
Death
If he,
going up.
if
He
he
does have
does that
Kepri execute threshold. It's a little bit off the mark. Scarab's Blessing does come out onto the X-Ball. Thanatos in trouble here, and Slavus is going to pay for his life. That's going to be a team.
they may do an entry. They
And they're going
probably
right in
enter.
on Titan. They've got 10 seconds up until Solo and Horse. They're looking to end right now.
It'll be really close.
This is gonna be a tough call here. Monster Use does pick up the Kepri. Stroke picks
No,
up
it's
another
not gonna
kill
be
on
an end.
X-Ball. Damage still going onto the Titan, and now they're gonna retreat. It was a good try.
Honestly, I don't hate that call. Like, I probably would have called that end too. It's a little risky, but you lose 2 members, and yeah, you don't get it, but you get the Titan half HP. Really, you could slink back to T2, but you still really can't
So
fight
the
that.
Skies comes out, the
Oh.
third ball going in, and he's gonna take X-Ball and Scylla with him, looking to catch the Odin out, and nothing
Odin
yet. Still
should
feeling
live here.
Hunt for Odin.
Odin should have jumped and then popped the 3, popped the 2.
Does not have mounted archery for the chase. He's got to land some autos if he wants this kill, and Odin's gonna jump out.
Yeah, and that was Hachi beats for that too. He beats the 3 to try to really aggress on that kill. We see that
Goal,
the
pretty
Camazotz
even.
still.
Crusaders
Camazotz
took the
still
last
looking
Fire
good.
Giant, and got deicide.
We saw the Pele just get a full herd seeker off of that. That is huge.
I really like the way that Incompetent Strategy is team fighting right now.
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, Kepri's really not, losing Scarab's Blessing on execute targets. He's been able to play into the Thanatos pretty well. Slave Biscuit using it a lot to initiate, not so much execute. And so that I think this Kepri is huge in this team fight.
I really would have liked to see them have vision and be aware that there was a fire giant going on. They played well off the fact of that they lost the fire, but I would have liked to see some awareness and or eyes.
Yeah, they did have 4 people commit to the Camazotz in solo lane with a fire giant going on about 70 units
they got
away.
they got the Thanatos too before it could get up to the air. So all in all, ends up working out for them.
They're looking for a T2 in mid right now. They do have minions pushing down the right lane, and I would like to see them go grab this, do a little bit of tower cleanup, go grab this T2 in the dual side.
I wouldn't love to see this push here. Minions are pretty far. Fire's up in 1 minute. I'd rather just set up around that fire giant.
If they can get it and get out and reset for fire, I think it's okay.
Yeah, but even then, Schrodinger and team on AG, they can just.
It's gonna work out because nobody quite responded to it. You see Horus back, Hachiman backing, Camazotz going in the right lane. If they had been in position to defend it, it may have gone.
I don't even think it was about the defense. I think it's that they could have gotten good fire position. They could have looked to just 5-man set up around that fire and look for a cheesy pick.
Yeah, that's where Crusaders is heading now. So it looks like they're going to be able to get set up on the Fire Giant. Nobody backing. Kepri back, but I'm not sure how much golden hand they have. But I would like to see Incompetent Strategy get some items for this next fight.
And we see that Scylla and that Raijin 200 damage apart. They're both putting in a lot of work. And then you see that Hachi and that Pele right below them. Right within striking distance. X-Ball a little bit below that, but then there's a massive drop off between the rest of the tanks. Biscuit has not really gotten an opportunity to come in this game.
Yeah, the windows have been pretty tight. He hasn't been able to take off like he did last game. Really like seeing the turnaround from Maelstrom. I think he's doing a lot of work on this Pele. Seems a lot more comfortable on it.
Yeah, definitely.
They started Fire Giant, and Sleet took a lot of poke. Cadman's in trouble here, and he's going to have to use Bat Out of Hell to get out of the Oda cage. Spear's
This Horus, they're leaving the Horus. Anybody that the Horus took 3-2 just left him.
I'm not sure about starting up Fire with the intent to bait for that long and losing 30%, 30-35% of Horus's life to do that. Didn't seem like Crusaders had the best comms there.
Washington just on the top left side. It should go down before he gets
Thanatos, not in time. Where's he going to go? He dives
He
from the back line.
should not have done that.
Scarab's blessing onto Call Me Rich, and with that blessing, he's going to go for it, and Belly Button Monster is going to pick up the kill.
That should be the
Maelstrom
game.
goes on the backside on Scylla. That's 3 members down on Crusaders, and we might see a tight push.
Yeah, because this Hachi's just...
Beats down on Hachi.
Hachi has no
there,
ult.
but he's going to die anyways. Maelstrom coming in, picking up his 8th kill. Rich picked up his 9th kill in
They
that
should
fight.
just rush right Phoenix and just rush through tank.
5v2. I think that's the call. That needs to be the call. Take right Phoenix, end the game. You have Fire Giant regen. You have a 5v2 for 20 seconds.
Yeah, they do have
Get
Rise
damage
Ball.
on the Titan. Ring of Spears is up.
4K,
Used
3K,
Forest. Nowhere
2K.
to go.
Tight.
Incompetent Strategy. Love to see it. Their team fight was insane for the last 10-15 minutes of that game. And they take game number 2. We're all even.
We're on to the game 3. Game 1, back and forth. Game 2, back and forth. But towards the end, it really just came together. And they really just got it all put together and had some great fights.
Yeah, in looking at how they executed their draft and what they did, I think they really punished Crusaders for not having more of a team fight. Going with the Camazotz and the Thanatos.
Yeah, a lot of work put in by Rich.
Having a huge dive comp or having those 2 dive characters on AG Crusaders, they really weren't able to get in. They needed to initiate with Hovering Death and weren't able to. I loved seeing Crimson Fire using those Kepri ults well. Maelstrom looked way better on the Pele than he did on the Thor. Looked way more comfortable, was able to do a lot in these fights. And Call Me Rich is fragging today. What? Right now? Okay. All right. So we'll be right back with game 3. Stay tuned, guys. We got a really good set going here. All right, we're back for game 3 in a very tight set of Albion Giant Crusaders against Incompetent Strategy. For game 3, I'm joined on the cast by my man Fuzzy Wuzzy. How you doing today, bud?
Man, I am doing great. I'm ready for some game 3 action, something that I haven't seen in a very long time because SPL doesn't have game 3, SSC doesn't have game 3. No one has game 3s anymore. So I'm just excited to see a good game 3 coming out of this.
Oh yeah, game 3 hype, and we've got bans going on this time. No remakes, no funny business with Smite servers or ban skins or whatever. So we got a full draft for you.
Well, the first draft's coming out. No surprise to anybody. It's going to be Persephone and Yamoja, followed immediately by an Odin, where Odin kind of ran the game last time. I squeaked in a little bit in the last little bit, but that Odin was just absolutely disgusting in those cages. The octagon, as I like to call it, has just been is an absolute catastrophic in these team fights.
Yeah, they think we let it through, and maybe we shouldn't do that again. So I like seeing that ban come out from AG Crusaders.
Oh yeah, and of course Merlin, obviously another one of those gods that you don't really want to see a lot of, but surprising enough, we do see Camazot's ban coming out for the third ban for the Albion Giant side, and it's a little interesting to pick that one because this is the patch that he just recently got nerfed. So Rick, is there still some more like Camazot's is still good just because of that heal and that sustain that he can play in the solo lane, or just because he's an absolute fragger in the jungle, they just want to get rid of that damage as well?
He's more impactful in solo lane, but he also works in the jungle. We saw him play it in SPL yesterday. He just has really good dive and a get out of jail free card that is kind of was the Yorm ult before Yorm was in the game, you know?
Absolutely. And final ban is going to be the Hun Bats, but immediately locked in will be that Cuckoo Khan, probably going into the hands of Schrody. And Schrodinger, he is known for some great cuckoo play, and to be honest, between Call Me Rich and Schrodinger, that mid lane 1v1 or 3v3, it all surrounds both teams around these two guys, and it has just been amazing to watch because both guys have really controlled the game in defense and in offense.
Yeah, Shro and Call Me Rich have been going at it. They've clearly been very impactful, doing a ton of damage. That being said, if you don't hear anything from me for a few seconds in this game, Fuzzy, just wake me up because I'm getting so tired and sleepy from seeing Kukulkan in all these games.
Hey, Cuckoo Khan is someone that you can't sleep on. And speaking of can't sleep on, Call Me Rich did lock in the Pele and the Kumbhakarna. Wow, it's like I wrote the script. You said nap, and we kind of just got that thing going. And you want to talk about putting everybody to sleep. Kumbhakarna will be able to do that. But Kukulkan Khan is one of those gods that's just, he's got such a presence with that zone and the ultimate, with the zoning with the whirlwinds and the Spirit of the Nine Winds as his ultimate, just being able to do crazy amounts of damage. But look what that left open. Thor immediately locked in, and you cannot sleep on that jungle Thor.
No, Anvil of Dawn goes a long way, and I'm really gonna look for Slate Biscuit to he's had these semi-global ults 3 games in a row now. Unless the store is going to solo, but I don't think it is. I'm gonna look for him to push this mid game, and they really need to nail this draft on Incompetent Strategy side to try to mitigate the store.
Well, and to help mitigate that draft, it's going to be an X ball. You want to make everybody fall asleep. You just turn off the lights, and a Thor dunk comes right in with the Spirit of the Nine Winds, and your entire team is wiped. That X ball is going to be a big team fight presence with that ultimate. He doesn't even have to be anywhere near the team fight in order for that presence to occur.
Yeah, this is a very strong draft right now. I really like it from AG Crusaders, and I like this pick even more. Look, it's my favorite god. Everybody.
Jingwei. We want to talk about safe pick. Jingwei is probably the safest hunter in the game that's possibly out there, and she is just going to combo effectively with the Pele and the Kumba being able to set her up.
Yeah, I think it's been, the last 2 games, Filteon has kind of pushed this lead. He's played X-Ball, Hachi, and Rising Birch can just farm safely with Jingwei. He can get out of Thor. He can get out of Kukulkan, knock up and get away from everybody. So I like to see it from Rising Birch. He's going to play for the late game a little bit, and they have a Pele in there to kind of bridge them over.
As we do see the bans coming out, we saw the Sobek and the Xingtian over on the right-hand side. But look on the left-hand side. They don't want to see that Scylla again in the hands of Call Me Rich. So they do not want to see that, but not even more so the Discordia being banned out. You know, that they don't want to see some bursty gods coming out because Rich has been playing a lot of these bursty gods in these games, and I do not blame him. And I think Discordia is a sleeper pick for all of you people out there.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see where they go in solo with this. It is nice to see the Sobek finally banned. We were just talking about that last game, how strong it is. So they're keeping that in mind as Incompetent Strategy is going to pick up a Vulcan here.
Vulcan, the man with one leg. No real movement, but he's got a little bit of self-peel with him. He does have that backfire and the meatball to knock people up because you want a spicy meatball coming in from the sky. It's going to be a massive ultimate. So look for some good setup with that. But you want to talk about good setup. This Geb pick with the Cataclysm into a Jormungandr solo. I mean, in all honesty, right now, my draft pick I don't even care what Goose picks up here. The draft comp right now solely goes in the favor of Albion Giants.
Yeah, this Geb and Yorm being left open. I mean, I'm fine with the Xingchen and Sobek bans, but I mean, that's what's on the table. I think Crusaders just nailed this draft.
Well, Crusaders nailed the draft, and following up, the last pick will be Amaterasu. Most likely going to be in that solo lane. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but, you know, we've seen some cheeky things in the past with Amaterasu in the support and maybe a Kumbhakarna solo. You never know, but it does look like it is going to go ahead and into that solo lane. So again, I gotta say, you know, I'm looking at these drafts, and yeah, you've got the Jingwei, yeah, you've got the Kumba, and yeah, you've got the Amaterasu. But honestly, I look at this and I'm going, this is Albion Giants Crusaders game to lose. I don't think they really have any sort of weakness in their team comp. They've got a lot of CC and they've got a lot of burst potential, and to be able to turn off the lights in team fights is just absolutely insane. Where on the other side, on the flip side, Incompetent Strategy, I don't see their strategy does look incompetent.
That would be the first time today. They have played really well, but I agree. I see a lot more synergy in the Crusaders draft than I do on strategy. I mean, I think there's just some strong picks. I guess the most I could see is a good dive comp with Amaterasu and Pele getting into that back line. But it's going to be hard to when you've got a Geb shield to worry about. X-Ball who has a CC immune dash and can time that well with dazzling offensive.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
They're going to need to push objectives, and they're going to need this Pele to bridge them through the mid game because they have a pretty late game comp and a tough team to fight into.
Well, Albion Giants Crusaders do have a later game comp and a better team fight objective. But I think a competent strategy, you're going to look for the individual picks and try to snowball a lead in the early game. Again, this is Fuzzy Wuzzy, joined again welcomed presently by Big Rick as we jump right into game number 3. Nothing else matters. This is it, folks. This is the final game, best of 3. And I can't say best of 1 anymore because I got talked down by Alpha Jackal about saying best of ones because he said, no, there's a lot of picks and strategy bans to it. And I could see the picks and ban strategy when it come out to it, specifically around this game 3.
Yeah, they really like having Sleep Biscuit on somebody with a semi-global ult, huh? Because he's played it 3 games in a row. The Scylla target bans, I love seeing how drafts shake out like this.
No cheeky starts right now, except for the, a few hogs here and there, but nothing too crazy as everybody will go ahead and secure their buffs. And I would expect Albion Giants to be able to give a little bit of pressure in this early game just because the Kukulkan Khan is able to out-pressure in that mid lane. Don't be surprised, though, if we see a little bit of fighting going on in this duo lane side because Shibalanke branching bolos hurt, and Geb knockup hurts. So be careful on that left-hand side because Jingwei can't box in these early games.
Yeah, Filtiarn definitely wants to fight. He wants to stack that passive, wants to get as many stacks on that as he can. And, he's got the matchup right now, so he's looking to abuse it.
Looking to abuse the matchup. Pele is waiting around the corner to see if Kukulkan was going to burst up, but decided not to. So Thor will be able to take these right-hand mid-harpies all alone, giving him a little bit of a level advantage and giving Albion Giant Crusaders just a little bit more gold. That's where the gold lead is right now as we stands 200, 300 approximately, but the totem going into the way of the Albion Giants. So now that gold lead is going to spiral a little bit more, and this is kind of the snowball that you want to see. Start farming efficiently, start getting everything that you can, because the faster that you get to these level 10, level 15 fights, Albion Giants, Crusaders, they can win this game in that time.
Yeah, we've seen how much of an impact Yorm has had in games, damage-wise, totem-wise. He's still really good in solo. I think the Jade Emperor's Crown, if he goes into that, it's one of the best items that he could build. So they can play through Kagran and try to get him over for some big fights. They have some huge team fight ults.
They do have some huge team fight ults coming out on Crusaders, and big Thor wall in the middle as they're looking to progress, and the Whirlwind dropped, but just off the mark. So Albion Giants not able to secure anything, but a dash coming in from Flaren, and he's trying to get something set up. Geb's going to go ahead and knock up, but no follow-up because minions were just diving the tower. They don't want to dive the tower themselves, so Illicit Sleet just going to go ahead and ward and see if the purple buff's up, and they might actually look to invade, which I wouldn't be surprised with how Illicit Sleet has been playing so aggressively.
Yeah, could be a purple invade here. If they clear this way, they should be able to grab the purple and starve this Jingwei out even more. So, dual lane going to the Crusaders right now, for sure.
Well, and that's where it's going to need to go. But look at this, a cheeky rotation coming out of Maelstrom. He's waiting around to see if Kagran's there. He's going to get the knockup. The knockup does not hit, but the silence coming out from the Amaterasu. He does not have ult. He's going in. He's going to spit. He's going to go down. Will this be first blood? The branching bellow, and it will not go off. Maelstrom picks up first blood.
Love to see it from Incompetent Strategy. Get that Yorn out of position. I think he was getting a little too big for his snake body and didn't have that get out of jail free ultimate yet. So really good punish, really good. This is how I think they're gonna make this comp work. Is they need to get picks and they need to really control this early to mid game, because if they get to late game, the team fight phase, it's gonna be tough for them to fight. So great pick there and great first blood onto the Pele.
And Pele picking up the first blood is something that Albion Giants should be scared about. Pele can really snowball a lead, and speaking of snowball a lead, Fails trying to get some more poke off, but he's not going to be able to get it onto the Kumba, so Kumba will just go ahead and back, and Jingwei can casually back and be right back in the lane with nobody having any issues. Look who's already level 5. Pele, Thor, level 4. So that level disparity and that jungle control disparity is going to be what really sets the Incompetent Strategy up for these next couple minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The Kukulkan is still going to be going into Book of Toad, so Shro not deterred by the, passive still works that way. Even though they nerfed Kukulkan's passive, still want to go that book route. So once he gets, he's playing a little bit for the late game. I've noticed he's a little less aggressive so far. He does have a level lead.
He's got a level lead, but the less aggression is a little bit interesting as he goes into the cooldown boots first instead of electing to go into that Soul Reaver. Something that we don't usually see if we want to do that Soul Reaver, or the Book of Thoth rush, is you want to get those stacks up quickly because that mana, and especially Kukulkan's passive, stack with that. So it's a little interesting to see that he goes into the cooldown, but he maybe wants a little bit of more cooldown so that he's able to flash his abilities more. Pings coming out from Incompetent Strategy to try to wrap around. The wraparound does seem to start coming in. X-Ball's going to try to back, but will it be picked off by Maelstrom? He is here, and he is ready. They're waiting for the wave. There's the knockup. He's going to go in off that knockup. They have no escape now. He's dashing in. The dash is down. Maelstrom is going to go ahead and turn off the lights, but a huge Geb Cataclysm will save his life. The rollout, is he going to fall? He will not fall. The rollout's going to be perfect as Illicit Sleek gets out with like 20 HP, but Maelstrom is now in a really bad place because he's trying to run to the mid lane. He's saying, guys, help me. But no, the meatball is going to clean him up.
Very nice meatball. Catches him right in the dash. I cannot believe Gab got out. Great job from Illicit Sleet to survive. Just the slightest of health there.
I mean, and it's a little interesting. You saw the X-Ball kind of go up instead of follow with the Geb, and I think that was because they wanted to try to split the team fight and see if they chase the Geb. But Incompetent Strategy showing some competence because they went for the target that was squishier rather than the target that they knew was going to get away. So kudos to Incompetent Strategy for picking that up. 6 minutes in, and we see 2-0, and what's really though, I'm looking at the gold lead right now. 2 kills on the side of Incompetent Strategy, but they're even. It's literally 10 gold difference, And that just proves how Albion Giant Crusaders are just farming efficiently and making sure that they can keep to this late game. So Albion Giants, I think they still have the advantage right now simply because of the fact that they're staying in. They're staying in the game.
Oh yeah, I think they're getting a few more totems. They're farming a little better. Although Tommy Rich has seized this experience lead, he does have a level up on the Kukulkan now, so that's changed hands a little bit.
The ultimate coming out, the Spirit of the Nine wins, but Call Me Rich says, no, Slave Biscuit, you will fall. Schrodinger is now a little bit of a bad situation, but a shell coming out, the Cataclysm as well. Spirit of the Nine wins, not available. The stun onto Illicit Sleep, he will not get away this time as Crimson Fire picks up Illicit Sleep.
Yeah, they're starting to get a lot of pressure, and they're up 4 kills to none right now. I did love the ult from Shro. I thought maybe Maelstrom was going to be able to actually pick up Shro once all that was expended, but decided not to full commit there, and they went on the Geb instead and got that pick.
You know, it's interesting because I didn't see the Earthbreaker ultimate get thrown over. I honestly thought, why waste it on the Geb? He's dead. Go ahead and throw it onto Shro. See if maybe he can't get a nice little cheeky pick with the lob, but no, he elected to try to just secure the damage on the Geb and support picking up the kill. So that's a 2-for-1 trade, or 2-for-none trade, because the jungle now is really just showing advantage. But look at how efficient Slate is farming. He's at the exact same level, and he might even get a kill here if he keeps pushing, because Pele's trying to run away. The overhead smash, the beat's coming out, but Pele will fall to Illicit Sleep. The support's getting kills all of a sudden now, but now Slate Biscuit falls to Call Me Rich, but Kagrin coming in from the ground to try to see if he can clean something up, but they're just going to go ahead and disengage. A 1-for-1 trade. I think that's a win for Albion Giants.
Yeah, it was a jungle for jungle trade. You do get another kill onto your mid laner for Call Me Rich, picking that up there, where we saw Geb Shockwave secure the other. So I'd call it about even, but I think that was good timing from Slate Biscuit to kind of force that fight, because I actually thought that Incompetent Strategy had a window for gold, or a window to pressure for gold there. And now they can't. Shro was really low health, really low mana. He would have had to back. They know that Cataclysm was down. I think they had it in the cards to maybe push an early goal, but that's not going to be the case.
Well, X-Ball, Philitame, just going to go ahead and turn off the lights just to make some spooky things happen, but he's getting pinged out. This Vulcan is making a quick rotation. The ultimate coming over, the Earthbreaker just off the mark. And Shibalanke going away with the skin of his teeth. I think he dies there if Vulcan showed up and got something good.
Yeah, I think it was, if Filthiarn had used that Rising Jaguar in coordination with his ult, he would have been dead to rights, but he still had it in his back pocket and was able to get out. Very, very tight, but was able to get out, and Shro picks up another kill.
Do you remember when you said that you were sleeping because Kukulkan is just always picked or always banned?
Yes.
That's why. He was able to solo kill a Pele in the mid lane. He still has his ultimate available for the secure, and Thor is up in the air. Airstrike coming in as well. Spirit of the Nine wins. Albion Giants pick it up, but Geb is one shot again, but he will get out. No, he will not. Birch will actually get a good crit. Shro is out of position. The Aegis already popped as a double stun. That Root's going to be able to do something, but Slate Biscuit spinning to winning. Rising Birch falls. Call Me Rich picks up Filtran. The Kubo passive is trying to fall right now, but Slate Biscuit not going to be able to do it, so he's going to try to hammer throw away. And here comes the Earthbreaker. Will it connect it? Will! Slate Biscuit falls! Call Me Rich is on a rampage!
Biscuit knew it too. He just stopped running, said, well, boys, this is it. If they can pick up this Kukulkan here, I think this is worth it. They've committed a lot for this.
And there's Goose doing Amaterasu things, just casually just gonna proxy farm, get a kill onto Slate or Shrode. So they don't get the mid power, but they are going to get pressure in their jungle as Maelstrom picks up the speed buff, and this is the snowball that you wanted to see in that mid game. But continue to look at the gold difference. That Gold Fury literally is keeping Albion Giants in the game. 54 gold in the favor of Incompetent Strategy.
Yeah, I think that Incompetent Strategy did a really good job getting the return kills on that fight, however extended it was, because they did dive in pretty hard after that Gold Fury and actually lost a couple members, but the full commit onto the tower, the full commit onto the Thor, and having that Earthshaker ult hit, that was a very good return for them despite losing that goal.
11 minutes in, 9-3 is the score line. Doesn't show the entire game, as Albion Giants have been able to farm efficiently, make sure they secure objectives, which has been their MO for as long as I've known them, when they were formerly known as Pride. They were able to continue farming efficiently and making sure that they get those objectives, because they have an objective burn comp in that Geb and that Kukulkan. So be on the lookout for maybe some cheeky steals too.
Interesting to see the Amaterasu go into an early Shoguns. I mean, it helps out it does help out the Pele, and it helps out the Jingwei more than anything. But if she had known that she would have gone that, I probably would have picked up Ninja Tabby on Pele.
Pyro was started, and Thor's going to go up in the air and try to go on a ridge, but will not land. And Shro, little miscommunication. The Spirit of the Nine Winds does fall, and I think Shro will inevitably fall because there comes the ultimate for Vulcan. There's a double kill from Vulcan. Vulcan is now unstoppable as he tries to run at Slate Biscuit, but not going to be able to do it. But you're absolutely right. From downtown, he's able to counter ult and pick up massive kills.
Huge Earthshaker there from Call Me Rich. And now he's 7-0.
This is something you don't see. A Vulcan beating and absolutely destroying a Kukulkan. And not just destroying because he's got, 2 less deaths or anything. No. Vulcan has been out rotating. He's been out securing these kills. And he is now effectively 7 kills ahead of this Kukulkan, and he just can't farm anymore. Kukulkan has to stay under tower and play as passive as he can be, and that's not what you want to be at 12 minutes in the game.
Yeah, Call Me Rich having a huge impact this game. He's 3 levels up now, maybe 2.5, but he's been fragging all day, and he's taking control of this Vulcan, and I love seeing it.
We saw him defend successfully that Scylla in that very first game, and he tried his best, but, so all is not lost. But Slate Biscuit looking a little bit, trying to possibly just secure his own blue buff, but no, Goose says, this is my blue buff, thank you very much. But while we were talking, 2 towers fall, so now the tower advantage falls into Albion Crusaders, and that gold lead, I know I keep harping on it, but it's in their favor because of the fact that gold lead is essential in this game because you get more items, you get more power spikes. The experience lead, it's a little bit, but you can see it's all focused around Call Me Rich, and that's where you want it to be, but this fight will determine it as the epic uppercut coming out. Slate Biscuit trying to run away. Strode's going to go ahead and drop the whirlwind, but the Serpent of the Nine Winds does connect too, as he will fall inevitably. Strode pops the Aegis, but there's the big Cataclysm from Geb. Kagran is here. The Earthbringer does hit that illicit fleet. It clipped it barely as Kagran goes in. That's a double kill for Goose. As there we go. Kagran finally going into the World Serpent. And that is Goose on a killing spree. So you want to talk about a snowball game? Talk about incompetent strategy. 14-3 is the scoreline, as they're going to easily get this Pyroman.
Yeah, I was going to say right before that fight, I felt like a lot of that gold lead was like a pseudo gold lead. I mean, they're down in kills, they're down in experience. They have taken 2 Albion Giants has taken 2 T1s and got the Gold Fury, but it really felt like it was only even in gold. Incompetent Strategy is starting to run away with this a little bit, and this is what they had to do. We talked about this mid-game comp and how, Crusaders draft is built for huge team fights, but when it's not 5v5 and they're getting these picks, they're able to swing the game into their favor. So I would look for Incompetent Strategy to really start pushing this, get a Fire Giant, and start sieging and start taking some towers.
And I also wouldn't be surprised if Incompetent Strategy looked to get this Oni Fury that's up. Oni Fury gives them a little bit more powerful minions, and they definitely are going to want that if they want to start this Fire Giant pool. But Strode says, no, I don't want you to have the have the Oracles, but Incompetent Strategy take the Oracles anyway. And I feel like Crusaders have always played through Shro, and so when he gets behind like this, you really can't do what you want to do when that happens.
Yeah, I would really, I think this is a hugely pivotal fight right here for this Oni Fury. I think that if Incompetent Strategy is able to take this Oni Fury, that is going to be a huge snowball. They can push that into a Fire Giant. They can push that in, even further push their lead. So if they're going to go for this here, they need to secure this. They need to get eyes on this Kukulkan and make sure that he cannot use Serpent of the Nine Winds against this.
He didn't even have time to beat so that he could use that slipstream, but it does not matter as a good Geb shield comes out. Shro is just sitting into his whirlwinds as Shro gets a kill. Thor is going up into the air. Crimson Fire picking up Shroud, but the chase is still on. The airstrike used. There's a big crit from X-Ball. X-Ball will not get the kill because he goes in the passive, but Birch will get Slaken. There's Kagran picking up Crimson Sire. That is a 2 for 2, but Incompetent Strategy pick up the Oni waves, the Oni Fury, as the waves now are spawning and pushing up, and this could be their cue to push up this mid lane, wait for everybody to kind of respawn and go for this Fire Giant.
Yeah, I think Rising Birch has done a really good job in this laning phase, knowing that, oh wow, he got Yorn before he could get into his ultimate.
You okay, bud? Kagran, are you there? It's me, the rest of your team. Oh, okay, bye. I'm trying to encompass what it would be like in comms because he was trying to get into his ult, and nope, just couldn't get there in time. And I think that just speaks highly of Rich's damage right now. If we take a look at that slash line that he has, he's almost on a godlike at this point, folks, and that's scary to think.
Yeah, he is 8-0 and not slowing down. It's a Vulcan that's 8-0 and this far ahead. These meatballs are slapping.
And it's interesting because look at the build. He's got his Chronos Pendant, and he got a little bit of lifesteal, and he went with the Spear of Dessa. And now he's got Karen's Coin, which for those of you that don't know what Karen's Coin is, it stacks up to 10 times, and once you get some little bit more of that, you're able to get a little bit more health and a little bit more movement speed. And what does Vulcan need? A little bit more health and a little bit more movement speed. So Karen's Coin, although I have said that it is not super effective all the time, it's definitely effective on this Vulcan.
He's one of the fastest amputees I've ever seen.
Well, look at this. A rotation onto Filtrain. Filtrain is going to get the Amaterasu ult. Doesn't have beads available, so Goose will just pick him up, and that was a carry for carry. And I think that went more into favor of the X-Ball because he's got the Rage built, and he has 4 stacks done. Look at Call Me Rich. Rich, don't do it to him like this. He did it to him like this, and he is now divine with a spicy meatball.
That is a spicy meatball.
I mean, there's not much you can say when Rich is now 9-0-4. And all they have to do right now is just get a Fire Giant on this around this man's belt and just let him do his thing. And I think he pulls out the win for this squad because everybody for Incompetent Strategy can set up this Vulcan crazy effectively. And look at that. 4K gold. We saw back and forth for the first 10 minutes, and now that chasm is starting to form as 4K is now the deficit.
Yeah, get this man a Fire Giant buff and start sieging, because nobody under that Phoenix is going to want to take an Earthshaker ult. Even if it's just a zoning ult, they should be able to get a Phoenix down off of it, and if it hits, you're picking up kills.
Especially if you hit it from max range, because the further you are away when you Kobe that shot, the more damage it does, and Fire Giant will eventually be the call once this Pyromancer spawns, and I think they're going to get that reset, try to look for a little bit more gold, because everybody is effectively around 2,000 gold. Not quite there just yet, but once this Pyromancer falls, most everybody will be around 2,000 gold. Go ahead and back up, spin the gold, or, you know, get a kill and a lick to sleep because he's out of position. Yeah. Nope, there's going to disengage.
I would have liked to see a harder commit on that. I don't think they realized how, what the terms of that engagement were.
Well, the terms of the engagement were to go on Shro. He missed the Spirit of the 9 Winds. Keep on pushing it. And so now, with Kukulkan gone, they could elect to go for this mid Phoenix, but no, they go to the Fire Giant like we predicted. And Slate Biscuit, he didn't realize that they were just on their way, so he has to run away with his hammer. He's going to try to set up for a Thor ultimate, but I think this easily falls in the way of Incompetent Strategy unless Slate Biscuit can do something really cheeky.
Yeah, that's not a fight that he wants to take into a level. He's level 14 into a level 18 Amaterasu, and Kagran's not going to get in position for the steal. It's like he was, but I don't know if he couldn't see the health bar there.
It looked like he tried to line up a spit, like the little Jormungandr, and it didn't work. So unfortunately, he does not set up the steal. But fortunately for Competent Strategy, their strategy seems to be working, and they have the pressure, they have a lead, and now they've got 2 tier 2s down, and I think this is Incompetent Strategy's game to lose now. We were talking about, effectively Albion Giants having the better draft, but Incompetent Strategy, they clearly knew what they wanted to play, and they're playing it really, really well.
yeah, they're executing this, and we didn't account for the Rich factor. We didn't account for this Vulcan was going to be a monster.
You
And
would
we thought
never.
'cause
You would never.
They banned Scylla that they wouldn't, but you know, he's a monster on Vulcan too.
You would never expect it. Vulcan is not one of those. Hey guys, I'm just gonna play Vulcan and hard carry and go 9-0-4 at 21 minutes in the game. You know, you just don't expect that because you're going up against a Kukulkan who can effectively take away your turret. Yeah, you've got some setup with Kumba and you've got a little bit of setup with Amaterasu and tiny bit of setup with Pele, but they're really playing around Rich, and this playing around Rich comp is totally what's working for them.
I can say I'm not totally surprised because you guys know I play with Nevaeh 03 and she's got a pretty dirty Vulcan where, you know, people will say Vulcan's not in meta, Vulcan's not a good character right now, and then you see somebody pop off as Vulcan and you're like, oh yeah, you know, still do damage like that.
Well, I guess the question is, who has a better Vulcan, Nev or Kami Rich? And we will find out because the Earth Shatter is going to come over and hit Kukulkan, but not enough damage to one-shot him just yet. But Slate Biscuit coming in, a great wall from him as well, but he's 4 levels down. He will probably doesn't want to take a fight with the Pele, and he does not. Pele picks up the first kill. Frenzy is pops Spear of the Night. It's going to go ahead and be thrown down. Stro picks up Maelstrom in the back by himself as the Phoenix targets Goose. The Cataclysm coming up from Get Illicit Sleep. Look at this. The Phoenix is still up, and Illicit Sleep's going to get away. And Feltran picks up the kill, but the Phoenix does fall eventually. Is it worth, though? 3 members down. 1 member down for Albion Giants. Kami Rich is the target. Will he be able to do anything? There's 1 for Kami Rich. Here comes the second one for Kami Rich. He is immortal, ladies and gentlemen, at 23 minutes.
Yeah, that lined up for him pretty well there. He got a good Aegis off and was able to 2v1. Got a nice little spicy turret kill.
Spicy turret kills. You just gotta love it. You know, hey, minion, do work for me while I try to run away. So peel for me. It's kind of like the turret is having an extra god on the field. It seems like kind of like a Calder or a Capri. Whenever you get those two together, it's just something you don't wanna run into. And Albion Giants found out they do not want to run into a turret, nor do they not want to run into Rich.
Yeah, I think that was it could have been cleaner. I don't want to say it was sloppy, but I think it could have been a cleaner Phoenix Siege. But at the end of the day, they got, what, 4 kills? 4 kills in return. They got a Phoenix, and they picked up a Gold Fury. Could have been a little cleaner? Sure. But the end result is still really, really good for Incompetent Strategy.
And that's the result that they wanted. Keep pushing this lead. That seems to be their game plan. Because, I mean, Hacker just gets half hit by Call Me Rich. Immediate half hit, and he's just like,
no support anywhere
bye. Yeah, no, he just has to leave. I mean, the Jormungandr, who is tanky, a tanky Jormungandr, just destroyed by a Vulcan. So mid Phoenix is the call, and I do have to say that the left Phoenix did fall. So that Fire Giant opens up pretty well because that Fire Giant spawning in a minute, and their Fire Giant and Incompetent Strategy's Fire Giant just fell off.
Yeah, I think they're looking for a pick here, but they should not commit to this mid Phoenix Siege, and they're not going to. They're going to strip jungle on their way out, and yeah, I'm not sure how much gold in hand. They all backed fairly recently, but they're going to pick up Pyro if anybody wants to get back to this Fire Giant pretty quickly.
I think that's the clay. I mean, look at Rich. 3,000 gold in hand. That's a whole nother item. He can get a Rada Tahuti right here and not even bat an eye, and that's just disgusting. Look at that. A Rada. It's like Hindu gave me the will to, like, call casts or something. Like, I'm writing the script myself. But I would never have written Vulcan goes 11-0 at 25 minutes in the game with 5 stacks of Karen's coin. Like, no, never. Never in a million years.
Yeah, we are following the Hinduman script to a T. I mean, we got the whole sleep cast thing. We got Vulcan with Tahuti, and he's got full build. This is scary.
I mean, anything's scary when you give it to Rich hands, but here comes Kagran. Is he going to try to look for a spit? He's going to throw out the spit. The World Serpent is going to come out. Maelstrom picks up Filtran, and Incompetent Strategy do pick up that Fire Giant and a kill. So now, Albion Giants Crusaders are on the back foot with most of their ultimates down because, unfortunately, X-Ball is dead, and he had his ultimate available, but Kagran had to use his ultimate to just get out. So look for this easy Phoenix push, and that's what they're going to start. Blink coming out. Albion Goose is going to go ahead and try to collapse onto Illicit Sleep. Thor's going to go up in the air, collapse on the back line.
Nice
Beads and Egg is coming out, but no hits from the Spirit of the Nine Winds. Frenzy does pop as Kagrin is still doing Sexful's defense as Goose picks up Schroed in the back. Unfortunately, Slave Biscuit can't get away as Maelstrom is get picked up as well. Illicit Sleep now having to run away and leave Kagrin alone to die alone. A painful death because this is it, and there's going to be the Phoenix will fall. Illicit Sleep, though, is still up. I've seen Gebs do good things, but here comes the Earthshaker. Full max rage, and there is a great Cataclysm to stop the damage. And look who just came up, X-Ball. X-Ball's gonna try to do some stuff, but Illicit Sleep fall. A double kill from Maelstrom, and that is the Titan. That is a rampage from Maelstrom, and that will be the end of Game 3. Incompetent Strategy picking it up.
He said, look who just got up. Look who just went down. It was just a ton of damage coming out from Pele and especially Rich on the Vulcan. What a great set.
Oh, absolutely. You had a good back and forth between Game 1 and Game 2. You had a little bit of a back and forth even in Game 3. A later game team comp that you wouldn't necessarily expect to falter with the Albion Giant Crusaders, because as long as they were able to keep up the pressure and keep that gold and XP difference that equal or close to equal, they could have won that game handedly. But this just shows that Incompetent Strategy came in, got the work done, and just took it away with the win.
Yeah, clearly Rich feels very good on the Vulcan. I mean, we've talked about it enough, but one thing we didn't even mention really is that meatball, it procs the Yorn passive of taking 15% more damage. So a bit of a counter pick there. And I mean, you could see the Girthworm was just getting absolutely blown up. Slate Biscuit looked a little uncomfortable on the Thor, a little bit of comms issues with Stro there. On that last ult, it was, he got a big dunk, but the timing between that and Serpent of the Nine Winds just wasn't there. Even if it was, I'm not sure there's much they could do. Really, really well played, well executed by Incompetent Strategy.
Absolutely well played. And I can't go without saying, we were always talking about call me rich, call me rich, call me rich. But Maelstrom did work. 8 and 4 and 9 on that Pele, and he had some high player damage. He had, granted, 8,000 down, but I think Maelstrom effectively ran this game, and then Rich was able to capitalize on the end of it, because the Maelstrom just absolutely just controlled the jungle.
Yeah, he looked great. The first game on Thor, it was a little bit the same thing. I mean, him and Slate Biscuit looked a little uncomfortable on Thor, and he switches to the Pele game 2, pops off. Switches, runs it back game 3. He looked really good on this Pele. And if you're a Kukulkan, you do not want to see a Pele in your face, because you're not getting away from it. Your 2, whatever that ability is called, blanking on the name, Slipstream. The Slipstream doesn't get you away from Pele. And Maelstrom was just diving and punishing that Schrodinger for just existing. So I think between him and having that dive with him and Goose going in on the back line, they just executed that really well. Really great Pele games from Maelstrom as well. Don't let the Vulcan overshadow that play. But both teams, I think, did a lot of really good things. There were a lot of very high team fights across all 3 games. I think both teams played very well. I'm not looking forward to playing against either, as I am in this division, but somebody had to win today. That's just how it goes. But a great 3-game set.
And absolutely a fantastic 3-game set out of these 2 squads. Albion Giants showed a lot of life in Game 1. Then Incompetent Strategy showed that they had a little bit more life in Game 2. And then Incompetent just pushed it down the throats to secure this win. So, Rick, any final thoughts before we leave the stream?
Oh, I don't know. I think I gotta think about how to counter some of these guys. I'm kind of nervous about both these teams right here. But I guess final word is thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, Fuzzy, for stepping into the cast a little bit. Thank you, Koja and Sty, for casting as well. Want to thank Not My Cabbages, our cameraman, our resident Doug. Excellent job. Thank you for everything you guys did. And thanks, BOTG, for putting on this league and allowing us to bring you guys some Saturday Smite. Now we can all go watch SPL.
Saturday Smite, SPL coming up to you, so stick around for when we host them. Thank you guys so much for coming to BOTG League Week 1.
making it a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad, I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like